This page is the front cover of Dreamcast Magazine Volume 3, dated January 22-29, 1999. It highlights key articles in the magazine, including a feature on Shenmue covering chapters 12-20, Sega 2, and Marvel vs. Capcom, Clash of Superheroes. There's also a mention of Seaman, described as Forbidden Pet, with a complete guide, and Sonic Adventure. Other featured games include Power Stone, described as Natural Color Fighting Adventure Action, Web Mystery, Yochimu Mirume Neko, and Arrow Dancing featuring Blue Impulse. The cover also mentions a 1999 New Year creator greeting and a special project where Dreamcast users can create homepages. The central image features a Peugeot car, likely related to a racing game, with SO Ultron branding. It also promotes Dreamcast Internet capabilities. This page is an advertisement for Sega Rally 2 Feet, a real rally car race game. The tagline is, "Run like dance." The text highlights the thrill of drifting and cornering, describing the game as requiring sophisticated techniques and precise machine settings. It mentions the importance of driver and navigator communication, aiming for victory, and the exhilarating feeling of rally driving. The game, Sega Rally 2 Feet, was scheduled for release on January 14th and priced at 5,800 yen. It supports communication play and racing controllers. There's a small image of the original Sega Rally Championship game box art at the bottom. The next page is focused on a Dreamcast racing game. The main image is of a Subaru rally car in full speed, kicking up dust and motion blur, with a crowd of spectators visible in the background. In the top right corner is the Dreamcast logo. Below the main image, there are several small screenshots from the game showcasing different cars and tracks in various racing scenarios. It's clearly a page highlighting a racing game for the Dreamcast console, and is likely promoting Sega Rally Championship 2. This page is the contents page for Volume 3 of Dreamcast Magazine from January 1999. It lists the magazine's sections, starting with New Year greetings from Dreamcast creators. There's a feature on anticipated Dreamcast titles, and dedicated sections for Shenmue and Marvel vs. Capcom, Clash of Superheroes. Other games mentioned include Sega 2, and Seaman. The Dreamcast Hot Information section covers new games like Senko no Turb, also known as Kishin Sekai Evolution, Web Mystery, Prophecy Dream Seeing Cat, Arrow Dancing featuring Blue Impulse, Power Stone known internationally, Monaco Grand Prix Racing Simulation 2, and Puyo Puyo N. Let's Make a Professional Baseball Team. The Dreamcast Soft Complete Guide highlights Sonic Adventure, 7th Cross, Evolution, and Incoming Human Final Battle. A special project is featured on creating Dreamcast homepages. And finally, a section on enjoying analog games on Dreamcast, recommending board and card games. This page is a game index, listing both Dreamcast and Sega Saturn games. For Dreamcast, titles such as Incoming, Arrow Dancing and featuring Blue Impulse, Seaman, Shenmue, Kikai Seirei Evolution, Power Stone, Sonic Adventure, Puyo Puyon, known internationally as Puyo Pop 4, Professional Baseball Team, Otsukuru, Marvel vs. Capcom, Clash of Superheroes, and Monaco Grand Prix are featured. Sega Saturn games listed include 7th Cross Evolution and Sengoku Turb. The index also points to sections covering weekly Sega Saturn magazine content, upcoming software like Roommate W Futari and Toryu Densetsu Elandal, complete guides for games like NOEL 3, Girl Doll Toy, and Sakura Wars Taigeki Graph, data stations, reader races, and software reviews for both consoles, alongside regular weekly features including news, data, reader contributions, and even horoscopes. The Sakura Wars 98 Christmas event, Miracle Bells of the Flower Division, took place at Roppongi Velfar on December 23rd. This special event for fans included the release of the Imperial Capital Graph fan disc and limited edition Christmas cakes. Tickets sold out in just 5 minutes, necessitating an encore performance. Oji Hiroi expressed thanks to fans and encouraged them to explore other entertainment while remaining connected to Sakura Wars. Kohei Tanaka hoped the event would create lasting memories, emphasizing its live music and stage performances to convey Sakura Wars' charm beyond the games. The setlist featured songs like Miracle Bells, Happy Day, Happy Xmas, Festival Dance, and an encore including Miracle Bells, So Special a Day, and Roar! Imperial Combat Review. Event highlights included Tanaka's greeting, children's choirs joining the Flower Division, Yokoyama Chisa's cheerful festival dance, and Suemeyer's bright Nayamashi Manbo with vibrant costumes and lighting. This page reports on a stage show event featuring characters Orihime and Lenny from the Sakura Wars series. The event included songs like Aisuru no Jean-Paul and Watashi no Aozora, and also featured Dandy Boss in a musical show called Tsubasa. The page then introduces venue-exclusive premium goods, including a telephone card, a dinner plate featuring character artwork, and a glass bell called Miracle Bell. A large B2 size poster illustrated by Hidenori Matsubara was also available for purchase at the event. This page is a news article titled, Sonic Adventure Release Special Report. Mr. Naka and Sonic and his friends patrol the city. The article reports on the release of Sonic Adventure on December 23rd, and the producer, Mr. Naka Yuji, and Sonic characters visiting stores in Tokyo to commemorate the release. Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, and Amy visited locations in Shinjuku, Ikebukuro, and Akihabara. The article mentions that this is a new version of the Sonic characters, and Mr. Naka is quoted as saying that the Sonic team supervised the designs, and they are better than he imagined, and he is satisfied. A quote from Mr. Naka Yuji is highlighted, "Everything is just starting today," emphasizing the game's launch and the anticipation surrounding it. He expresses his satisfaction with the game's reception and the Dreamcast hardware, stating he feels this is a memorable day. This page details several events. The Tokyo Game Show 99 Spring Press Conference announced the event at Makuhari Messe in Chiba on March 20-21, themed Switch On, to expand beyond gaming. The Professional Baseball Dream Market, celebrating the 10th anniversary of Sega's Dynamite Baseball NAOMI, took place on December 19-20. Featuring pro baseball players and fan interaction. Details for the Tokyo Game Show 99 Spring event, March 20-21, Makuhari Messe Halls 1-8, specific times ticket prices, were included. The popularity of the Yokohama Baystars, with player autograph sessions and photos, was also noted. Lastly, the Tokimeki Memorial OVA production presentation party occurred on December 20th, across Tokyo, Nagoya, and Osaka, featuring voice actors, a mini-live, talk shows, and fan gifts, promoting the upcoming 2-volume OVA release. Several exciting events are announced. The Challenge the Sega Rally 2 in AMLUX Osaka event runs from January 14th to February 7th at Toyota Auto Salon, AMLUX Osaka, featuring free Sega Rally 2 and Dreamcast gameplay, tournaments, car displays, and a Yoshio Fujimoto talk show on January 31st. Akihabara will see the original Puyomon main store open on December 24th with celebratory gifts. In March, Tokyo's waterfront will welcome Pallet Town and Neo Geo World Tokyo, a large-scale development with shopping and event spaces. Anime enthusiasts can anticipate the Neon Genesis Evangelion Volume 7 inches DVD release on January 22nd, containing episodes 25, 26, and the movie version. Lastly, Cospa Revive, a critical event for the COSPA brand to revitalize its cosplay events and address declining participation, will take place on January 17th in Tokyo's Kagurazaka. This page features several announcements and game releases. In the event section, it talks about a musical group, SC Nansho, performing a unique musical act. The soft section introduces a new arcade machine called VJ, described as a business-use visual and sound machine that allows players to create visual effects in sync with music. The information section focuses on Namco's arcade game, Tenkamori Shooting, announcing a contest to name the main character Monkey. Several music releases are highlighted. Double Circle by Ito TK Takeru, described as catchy groove music. Romantic Moment, a music collection for romantic moments. Ice Smile by Miki Imai, with a music video included as CD extra. Evergreen by Miri Taira, a best album marking her 10th debut anniversary. July World Music Collection, a soundtrack collection. And Black Matrix Sound Collection, another soundtrack. Game releases are also mentioned, including Preschool from Toys Factory and Superhero Operation, a compilation of popular hero themes from anime and tokusatsu, available on PlayStation. Finally, there's a section about applying for presents related to the landmark articles in the magazine. This page is a New Year's feature for 1999 showcasing greetings from creators. The page is decorated with a traditional Japanese New Year's display featuring a Dreamcast console as the centerpiece. Game screenshots are incorporated into the design, showcasing upcoming titles. You can see scenes from Shenmue, Hydro Thunder, House of the Dead 2, Virtua Fighter 3 Team Battle, and what looks like Grandia 2. There is an interview with Yukawa Motoshi, the former senior managing director of Sega Enterprises. He reflects on 1998 as a year of excitement, particularly with the Dreamcast launch. He mentions the overwhelming positive response at the Tokyo Game Show and on launch day, where he met with fans. Looking ahead to 1999, Yukawa emphasizes Sega's commitment to entertainment and their determination to win in the market. He asks for continued support in the new year. There's also a Happy New Year 1999 card with a message from Yukawa wishing everyone a good year with the Dreamcast, highlighting its dynamic graphics and entertainment capabilities. This page features an interview with Yu Suzuki, discussing his latest project, Shenmue, and the upcoming presentations planned for major cities in 1999. Suzuki reflects on the intense development of Shenmue in 1998, stating it consumed all his energy. He emphasizes the graphical power of Shenmue, noting it surpasses the officially announced 3 million polygons, likely exceeding 4.5 million. He highlights that Shenmue will be a real-time rendered movie and not pre-rendered CGI, showcasing the Dreamcast's capabilities. Suzuki mentions that the Dreamcast version of Shenmue is targeted for spring release and expresses his desire for players to experience its immersive world. He teases another project, a driving game, which is also in development, and suggests it will be revealed soon, mentioning location testing for it. He also mentions the arcade version of Virtua Fighter 3 and how he moved on to Shenmue after its release in 1996. The page includes a screenshot from Shenmue showing Ryo Hazuki in a detailed environment and another image of a red Ferrari F355 in a racing game context, possibly hinting at the new driving game project. Yu Suzuki encourages readers to attend the upcoming presentations to witness the latest Shenmue age, which will be around 30 to 50 minutes long and contain new information. He suggests that the presentation will be more accessible and understandable than previous ones. He signs off with Yu Suzuki and a Happy New Year 1999 message. Capcom's Yoshiki Okamoto outlined the company's Dreamcast strategy in a 1999 interview. Capcom is prioritizing Dreamcast development, leveraging the Naomi arcade board for games like Marvel vs. Capcom, seeing its distinct market appeal compared to other platforms. Okamoto's zombie dream for the year is the release of Code Veronica, aiming for sales mirroring Dreamcast and Virtua Fighter 3 TB launches, with Mikami overseeing production. He also mentioned a hardcore test game and expressed interest in creating a more relaxed Hanabono game, reflecting the year's keyword Hanabono battles. The feature previews Power Stone, a 3D action game, Resident Evil Code Veronica, promising enhanced horror on Dreamcast, and Marvel vs. Capcom, a tag team fighter potentially leading to further CP system ports. This page is an interview with Yuji Naka of Sonic Team, discussing the success of Sonic and his aspirations for the Dreamcast and network gaming. He reflects on 1998, mentioning the release of Burning Rangers in the same year as Sonic titles, and considers 1998 to be a fulfilling year. He states that Sonic was designed as the flagship title for the Dreamcast, and is satisfied with the final product. Naka highlights Sonic Team's deep involvement in the Dreamcast hardware development, from controller design to network features. He expresses excitement about network play and his ambition for networld domination. The page also features an advertisement for Sonic Adventure, promoted as a future standard 3D action game, with 6 action types and 6 stages. The advert emphasizes the network play aspects of the game and showcases screenshots including the Chow Garden. It ends with a Happy New Year Chow message featuring Chow characters and signatures from Sonic Team and Yuji Naka. This page is an interview with Juro Watari from Sega AM3, discussing the Dreamcast port of Cybertroopers Virtual on Oratorio Tangram. Watari reflects on the past year and expresses hope for a more relaxed and enjoyable gaming experience for players in the future, moving away from frantic button-mashing gameplay. He mentions that the Dreamcast version of Oratorio Tangram is about 10% complete and is aiming for a late 1999 release. Location tests are being conducted for the game, referred to as Oratorio Tangram MSBS Ver. 0.5.4, and he anticipates it will be available around the New Year period for about 2 weeks. Watari discusses his desire to create games that appeal to experienced players and suggests exploring game genres beyond video games. The page includes screenshots from Cybertroopers Virtual on Oratorio Tangram and promotion for the game. Watari also shares a message to Dreamcast Magazine readers, noting that while video games might be considered old, the essence of gaming is still about communication and enjoyment. This page is an interview with Toshihiro Nagoshi from Sega AM11, discussing the development of games for 1999. Nagoshi reflects on 1998 as a year of movement, with the establishment of AM11 and the creation of the original game, Spike Out. He mentions the importance of arcade games and consumer communication. He talks about wanting to create something new and exciting, like his favorite game of last year, Beat Mania. Nagoshi discusses the development of Virtua Striker 2 Ver 99, highlighting the positive reception of the VS2 Virtua 99 update and the ongoing popularity of the Virtua Striker series. He mentions considering porting Virtua Striker to Dreamcast due to the demand for soccer games on the platform and the performance of the Naomi arcade board. He also talks about the possibility of porting Spike Out, despite the challenges of online play at the time, emphasizing the game's fun factor and potential for Game Center multiplayer experiences. Nagoshi mentions that the key word for 1999 is new products. He acknowledges that Sega needs to provide something technologically impressive, but also fundamentally fun. He refers to Spike Out as an example of challenging the limits of Staff and Model 3 hardware. The page features screenshots of Virtua Striker 2 Ver 99 and Spike Out. The next page is a special New Year's feature with Takeshi Miyagi, the head of development at GameArts. Miyagi discusses the past year, 1998, highlighting the release of Grandia on the Sega Saturn. He expresses excitement for the future, especially with the Dreamcast and GameArts' upcoming titles, including Grandia 2 and Keimusho Sangokushi, working title of Tricolore Crises. The key word for 1999 is challenge, and Miyagi hopes to push the Dreamcast to its limits. He also hopes to release Grandia 2 and Tricolore Crisis in 1999. Miyagi aims to incorporate themes of hope and optimism into their games, even in the face of the supposed end-of-the-century anxieties. He expresses a desire for the Dreamcast to gain momentum and for GameArts to contribute to its success with innovative and high-quality games. There are details about Grandia 2, a game in development for the Dreamcast. It promises a more mature and weighty story, with high expectations for its system. Tricolore Crisis, which uses the beautiful graphics of Taiwanese comic artist Zheng Wen, is also mentioned, set in a unique world of the Three Kingdoms. The next page is a New Year's greeting from Climax Entertainment, featuring an interview with Kan Naito, the company's representative director. Naito discusses the Dreamcast and his thoughts on Sega's efforts, expressing admiration for the large-scale advertising campaigns. He mentions the importance of software quality and expresses some disappointment that Climax Landers may have contributed to the initial software shortage for the Dreamcast launch. He hopes to fully utilize the Dreamcast's communication capabilities in future games, hinting at potential online features. A screenshot from Climax Landers is showcased, ARPG, featuring a unique blend of historical settings. Naito also reveals that Climax Entertainment didn't release any new titles last year, fueling fan anticipation for their upcoming projects. Also on the page is the Climax Entertainment logo, with a tagline asking, "Tsuyu Daku IV is here?" and Naito's autograph and the date the 1st of January 1999. The next page features Hiroi Uji of Red Company, with the tagline, "Sakura will show something this year." Hiroi discusses his involvement in digital worlds and his desire to create works that appeal to the player. He mentions that his work on stage productions has influenced his approach to game development. He aims to be a producer who can support creators and allow them to focus on their creative aspects. He reflects on the past year and looks forward to incorporating stage elements into games. He also talks about themes and keywords. Hiroi mentions that brightness, excitement, and energy are themes he focuses on. The keyword, "the sun will rise again," reflects his optimistic outlook. He expresses his belief in the potential of games and his desire to create works that evolve beyond traditional media. A section titled, 1999 New Work, Check. Listen here. Sakura Taisen 3 inches, Sakura Wars 3, mentioning the staff involved, including Kosuke Fujishima, Kohei Tanaka, and Satoru Akahori. It also mentions the Dreamcast game Kita-e White Illumination, to the north, White Illumination, by Hudson and Sega. The next page features an interview with Koichi Nakamura, the representative director of Chunsoft, discussing the sound novel genre and his outlook for 1999 with the keyword network. Nakamura, reflects on 1998 as a year filled with sound novels like Machi for the Sega Saturn and Kamaitachi no Yoru for the PlayStation. He expresses that releasing 2 titles in 1 year was unusual for Chunsoft. He discusses the challenge of Machi's live-action sound novel approach and the mixed reception to its realism. He acknowledges some users' reluctance towards live-action elements. Looking ahead to 1999, Nakamura suggests that RPGs might be a key genre, with Dragon Quest V-2 on the horizon, but emphasizes the importance of networking. He sees 1999 as the year networking will take off, focusing on information gathering and exchange, initially in basic forms. When asked about Chunsoft's plans for 1999, Nakamura mentions the upcoming PlayStation versions of Machi and Otogiriso, and hints at releasing a few more titles. He expresses his desire to move away from the previous image of Chunsoft. Regarding the Dreamcast, Nakamura believes that modems will become standard, changing how games are played. He suggests that traditional pattern-based games will become easily solved through user information exchange, necessitating new puzzle-solving games that rely on communication features. The page also includes a section titled 1999 Newest Work Check, which teases Machi 2 inches for the Dreamcast, although there are no official announcements. The next page features Atlas producer Koji Okada and Warp representative director Kenji Ino, both giving their thoughts on 1999 and their upcoming Dreamcast titles. Okada discusses Atlas's focus on the Dreamcast with the upcoming Maken X, emphasizing its unique BrainJack system and the detailed character animation. He highlights the importance of quality software and expresses his desire to deliver new experiences with Maken X. Ino talks about Warp's D2, describing it as a game filled with human emotions. He mentions the re-release of Real Sound, Kaze no Regret, Real Sound, Wind Regret, on the Dreamcast, and expresses his dream of connecting players through the Dreamcast's online capabilities. It also contains a screenshot of Real Sound, Wind Regret. He humorously describes his key word for 1999 as, "Friends should bleed green for those that you love." The page also includes screenshots and promotional material for both Maken X and D2, and a release date for Real Sound, Wind Regret. The page ends with New Year greetings. The next page features an interview with Tomonobu Itagaki, the producer of Tecmo's Dead or Alive series. He discusses his focus on Dead or Alive 2 inches, Dead or Alive 2, for 1999, and his desire to provide players with truly enjoyable and satisfying fighting games. He also mentions improvements to the game's graphics and the use of the NAOMI board. The page has screenshots of Dead or Alive 2 and ++, Dead or Alive ++, showcasing new characters and visuals. This page shows the Dreamcast software sales ranking, a data station corner, and a check of Dreamcast-related data. The top 5 selling games are 1. Virtua Fighter 3 TB, a fighting game. This entry mentions the ring-out system and its strategic use. It sold 19,969 units this week and has a cumulative sales of 162,666 units. 2. Incoming. The Final Conflict, a shooting game where you confront alien threats with various weapons and vehicles. It sold 12,486 units this week and has a cumulative sales of 12,486 units. 3. July. An adventure game featuring 150 characters with unique profiles. The entry suggests enjoying the side stories of supporting characters. It sold 5,312 units this week and has cumulative sales of 27,370 units. 4. Pen Pen Trisalon, a racing game. The text hints at tips and tricks for playing Pen Pen being featured in a series, and to await the Nakamura Cup results. It sold 4,954 units this week and has cumulative sales of 28,984 units. 5. Godzilla Generations, an action game. The entry mentions downloadable content of Atsumete Godzilla and completing the 30-plus monster roster in the Hitori de Battle mode. It sold 4,387 units this week and has cumulative sales of 34,490 units. The next page is a ranking of the most anticipated upcoming Dreamcast titles. Grandia 2 tops the list, followed by Shenmue and Sega Rally 2. Other games in the top 10 include Biohazard Code, Veronica, Resident Evil Code, Veronica, X, Make an X, Cyber Troopers Virtual on Oratorio Tangram, Evolution, Eternal Dungeons, D2, and 2012, Psychic Force 2012. There's a weekly pickup section featuring Marvel vs. Capcom, Clash of Superheroes. At number 32 is Monaco Grand Prix Racing Simulation 2. Also highlighted are Turb, Sengoku Turb, and Seaman, the Pet with a Face. The next page features a ranking of games that readers would like to see ported to other systems, along with an arcade game ranking. The top 5 in the port request ranking are Rent a Hero, Sakura Wars series, Soul Calibur, Nights into Dreams, Final Fantasy series. The top 5 in the arcade game ranking are Virtua Fighter 3 TB, Virtua Striker 2 version 99, Virtua Striker 2 version 98, Street Fighter 03, Cyber Troopers Virtual on Oratorio Tangram. There's also a weekly pickup section highlighting Zombie Zone, describing it as a new style of action game that combines gun shooting and action elements, similar to Sega's House of the Dead series. Finally, there is a preview of Virtua Striker 2, version 99, noting the addition of new national teams from countries like Jamaica, Chile, and Austria, as well as improvements to the game's responsiveness. This page previews upcoming Dreamcast software and hardware. January 1999 software releases include Sengoku Turb, Sega Rally 2, and Sonic Adventure International. February features Pop-In Music and Monaco Grand Prix Racing Simulation 2, among others. March includes Blue Stinger and Marvel vs. Capcom. May sees Dreamcast Taisen Mahjong. August has Entertainment Golf and Grand Sumo. And December features Xianryu 2 and Dynamite Robo 2000. Winter 1999 will see Power Stone, and Spring 1999 brings titles like Shenmue and Psychic Force 2012. Numerous unreleased titles are also listed, including Seaman, Berserk, Biohazard Code, Veronica, and Grandia 2. Hardware released January 14, 1999, includes the Dreamcast VGA box and racing controller. February 1999 will see the fishing controller, vibration pack, Pop-In Music special controller, and a microphone. Camera Dream Battle is listed as another product releasing in March 1999. The next page has a summary of the reader's vote on Dreamcast software. As of January 8th, the top 5 games are 1. Virtua Fighter 3 TB, 2. Pen Tri-Isolon 3. Inca Ming, The Final War, Japan exclusive. 4. Godzilla Generations 5. July, Japan exclusive. The review section mentions Sonic Adventure as the next big contender. The magazine predicts that Sonic Adventure, 7th Cross, and Tetris 4D are the next games to be ranked. The page has mini reviews of Virtua Fighter 3 TB, Pen Tri-Isolon, and Inca Ming, The Final War. This page features the weekly Dreamcast Reader Race column, focusing on Dreamcast peripherals and software rankings as of January 8th. Games reviewed include Godzilla Generations, praised for the destructive fun but criticized for limited cityscapes and repetitive gameplay. July, 45. Described as an adventure game with some action, but criticized for its simplistic gameplay, weak presentation, and lack of polish. Dream Passport. Commended for its user-friendly introduction to online experiences, but criticized for its limited functionality and lack of depth. There's also a section highlighting reader opinions on various topics, including thoughts on Sonic's shoes, the singing abilities of Sega executive Toshihiro Nagoshi, and Suzuki Yu's new game idea. The page includes an invitation for readers to participate in prediction contests, where they can guess the ranking of upcoming games like Sega Rally 2 and Sengoku Turb. Winners can receive Dreamcast games and peripherals as prizes. The page includes a special present of an arcade stick and visual memory unit. The next issue will feature Sonic Adventure. This page features reviews of 2 Dreamcast games. The first game is Sengoku Turb, an action RPG where you control a little person in space. The game gets an overall score of 8 out of 10. The reviewers comment on its quirky interface, enjoyable gameplay, and easy-to-pick-up action, along with character development elements. The second game reviewed is Kame Kigen Sekai Evolution, an RPG, where you are tasked to explore ancient ruins in 3D. The game has a unique system where the structure of the ruins changes each time you play. This receives a 7.33 out of 10. The reviewers appreciate the engaging dialogue, charming polygon characters, music, and dungeon graphics, but mention repetition, a lack of enemy variety, and a desire for more events. The next page features a guide for Virtua Fighter 3TB on the Dreamcast. It includes character move lists, combo tutorials, offensive and defensive strategies, and counterattacks. The guide's price is listed as 1,100 yen, and it is A5 size with 4 pages. The next page is a special feature on Shenmue, showcasing the game's release event held across 5 major cities in Japan. It highlights the immersive experience of the game, with detailed environments and reactive elements. The page includes screenshots, particularly focusing on the character Shenhua, action sequences, and a cherry blossom scene. There's a quote from a producer of a fighting game praising AM2's background design. The page also mentions the release date is spring, price undecided, developed by Full Reactive Eyes Entertainment. The photo shows Hiroshi Fujioka and Sega Executive Director Yukawa. The next page is a report from the Dreamcast Magazine team on location at the 12.20 presentation event, which featured Shenmue, covering the opening and merchandise. The page provides details about the event, including the early arrival of attendees, the organization involved, and the popularity of the merchandise corner. A survey was conducted at the venue, with questions about arrival times and attendance at previous D2 and Sonic Adventure presentations. The survey results regarding favorite merchandise are also featured, with the Shenmue CD being the most popular, followed by the T-shirt. D2 release date, 98.5.23. Sonic Adventure release date, 98.8.22. The next page provides coverage of the Dreamcast game Shenmue, highlighting its grand presentation at a special event. It details the attendees' positive reactions to the music and visuals. The page presents survey results indicating high satisfaction with the event and significant anticipation for the game. An average score of 92.3881 was given for how much the attendees were looking forward to the game. Most people said they wanted to buy it, and the general vibe was good, and that the music in particular was great. The next page dives into the Dreamcast game Shenmue, featuring comments from special guests and audience reactions. Animation director Mamoru Oshii praises the character Shenhua, noting her lifelike qualities despite being 3D, plus comments from Koichi Harada. Audience members express excitement, highlighting the game's graphics, music, and immersive world. They're impressed by the level of detail and the potential of the Dreamcast to bring such a world to life. Some mention how the game could influence future titles. The page also touches upon reactions from other industry figures, including one who predicts Shenmue could revolutionize interactive entertainment. The next page features coverage of the Shenmue announcement. The page highlights key statements from the presentation. Yu Suzuki emphasized the attention to detail in character creation, aiming for natural facial expressions. The game shifts from initial illustrations of Ryo Hazuki to in-game CG scenes, showcasing realistic character models amidst cherry blossom petals. Attendees were impressed by the real-time CG, mistaking it for pre-rendered age. The setting moves to Hong Kong, introducing characters like Ren, Kushure, and Shenhua. Special guest comments include those from race car driver Shinji Hattori. Additionally, comments from Sonic team members are featured, expressing admiration for the game's visuals, initially mistaking them for pre-rendered scenes. The game boasts over 1,200 rooms, with accessible areas beyond just hallways. Game commentator Koji Watanabe praises Yu Suzuki's innovative ideas, particularly the concept of adding a time element to 3D space, creating a 4D game experience. He also notes the game's departure from traditional RPG constraints. This page features a detailed look back at the 12.20 presentation event and the latest information for Shenmue. The page includes comments from special guests about Shenmue, mentioning it is a game with strong drama and visuals. Voice actors share their experiences with the extensive script and recording process. Comments from Capcom's Yoshiki Okamoto and Red Company's Oji Hiroi praise the game's depth, vision, and independent nature. Okamoto expresses admiration for Yu Suzuki's dedication and Sega's support, while Hiroi highlights the game's music and cinematic qualities. The next page is a preview of Shenmue, at the time known as Project Berkeley, highlighting key scenes from the game. It spotlights the confrontation between Ryo Hazuki's father, Iwao Hazuki, and the antagonist, Lan Di. The motion actor for Iwao Hazuki is Takeshi Wakamatsu, the only formal apprentice of the Hakioken master Wu Lianzihi, combined with the voice of Hiroshi Fujioka. The preview also mentions the game's time control and dynamic weather features. The game world has a real-time clock, impacting in-game events and weather conditions. Finally, it touches on the ways to earn money in Shenmue, focusing on gambling minigames, like Kairoren, where players can win or lose large sums. The next page previews upcoming character information for Shenmue. It introduces new characters that Ryo Hazuki will encounter. These include the antagonist Sao Ryu, a master of a lost martial art and one of the Four Kings, and Chai, a sneaky and cruel character. The page also features Ku Shuei, a beautiful woman with realistic facial expressions. This page promotes the upcoming Shenmue game and events for fans to view the latest age in 5 major cities across Japan. It highlights features like hand motion capture and QuickTime events. Yu Suzuki's comments emphasize that the real-time CG of Shenmue needs to be seen to be appreciated. The events will be held in Osaka, Fukuoka, Sapporo, Sendai, and Nagoya on specific dates in January 1999, with limited capacity at each location. The page also features a map for the Osaka venue and notes that Yumoto is a special guest, offering fans a chance to meet him. The next page features details from a Shenmue presentation event, highlighting the impressive number of rooms in the game, specifically within Kowloon Walled City, and the interactivity it offers. The page emphasizes the visual impact of the game, with a quote from a participant comparing the experience to watching a movie, even with travel costs. It promotes upcoming Shenmue presentations in 5 major cities, promising exclusive gifts for attendees. Also included are maps and directions to the event venues in Fukuoka, Hokkaido, Sendai, and Nagoya, with venue addresses, nearby train stations, and walking times. The next page is an advertisement for Marvel vs. Capcom, Clash of Superheroes on the Dreamcast. It highlights that it is a Dreamcast exclusive report. The advertisement showcases various Marvel and Capcom characters. It mentions that the game is developed by Capcom and scheduled for release in March. It also notes that the price is yet to be determined, and it is a versus fighting game that supports 12 players. The next page is an advertisement for the Dreamcast version of Marvel vs. Capcom, Clash of Superheroes, a tag team fighting game featuring characters from both Marvel Comics and Capcom's video game franchises. The ad highlights the game's 2D graphics, over-the-top action, and the fact that it features heroes from both the Marvel and Capcom universes. Screenshots show various characters in action, including Morrigan, Strider Hiryu, Gambit, Captain Commando, and Spider-Man. The tagline emphasizes the complete port of the arcade game to the Dreamcast. The next page showcases Marvel superheroes from Capcom, highlighting the Versus series that crosses over the comic and game worlds. The page features screenshots of characters like Gambit, War Machine, Hulk, Captain America, Spider-Man, Venom, and Wolverine in action. It mentions that Venom and War Machine make their debut from the Marvel side, while Ryu, Chun-Li, Morrigan, Jin Sao Tome, and Mega Man represent Capcom. There's also a screenshot featuring Mega Man facing off against Hulk, plus some additional heroes shown on the special partner select screen, like Thor and Iceman. The article also notes that quiz game Tatsunoko Fight features a guest character Saki Omokane, and the game features support characters from both Marvel and Capcom. The next page is for the game Marvel vs. Capcom, Clash of Superheroes. It showcases in-game screenshots featuring characters like Morrigan, Mega Man, Zangief, Ryu, Captain Commando, Strider Hiryu, and Chun-Li. The page highlights the game's 2D graphics and variable battle system. It mentions the variable cross system and its potential for creating combos. The text discusses the Dreamcast version and hints at new elements exclusive to it. The next page focuses on Sega Rally 2 Inches for the Dreamcast. It features an interview with professional rally driver Yoshio Fujimoto, who served as an advisor for the game. The page includes screenshots and promotional material, including that the game is scheduled for release on January 14th and will retail for 5,800 yen. It notes the game has race play and supports network play and racing controllers. Fujimoto discusses his involvement in the game's development emphasizing the pursuit of realism and how they tried to capture the feel of rally racing. He also mentions his work on previous installments of the series, including the original Sega Rally and Sega Rally 2 inches arcade versions. The next page features Sega Rally 2 Championship for the Dreamcast. The page has screenshots of the new muddy course, which replicates the Indonesian Rainforest Rally, with slippery mud and driving age. The course was test-driven by a professional driver. He gives his impressions of the DC version, stating that the feeling of driving is very close to the real car, especially in the handling and the movement of the cars like FF and 4WD. The driver wished the arcade version was faster and have the option for one-way courses. The page also promotes TEIN suspension brand and their history in motorsports. The next page is a feature on Sega Rally 2 Championship for the Dreamcast. It covers a 98 Champions meeting event with rally drivers. The event featured rally drivers from Mitsubishi's World Rally Championship team and included demo runs and talk shows with WRC champion Tommy Mäkinen and other professional drivers like Freddie Loix and Yoshihiro Kataoka. Attendees could experience Sega Rally 2 on Dreamcast, despite initial expectations that it wouldn't be playable by the public before release. The Dreamcast version was well received due to its faithful arcade conversion. A work-in-progress version of Sega Rally 2 was available, with only the desert course playable in time attack mode, but it allowed players to use additional cars and adjust settings. The game featured 60 frames per second visuals and arcade-like dust effects. The transmission could be set to automatic or manual, with either analog or digital controls. Other rally events took place, including demo runs by WRC champions, displays of rally cars, merchandise sales, and driving instruction. One highlight was Yoshihiro Kataoka performing drifts in his Lancer Evolution 2i, with the debut of the Lancer Evolution 6. The event was well attended, drawing a large crowd of rally fans. Tommy Mäkinen, despite being in poor health, reportedly played the Dreamcast version of Sega Rally 2. The next page showcases Sega Rally 2 inches on the Dreamcast, featuring an interview with pro rally driver Yoshio Kataoka. He discusses his experience playing the DC version, noting its realistic feel compared to actual rally driving. He won second place in the APRC. Kataoka praises the game's handling of different terrains and looks forward to competing in the APRC next year. The page also highlights a press tournament for Sega Rally 2, won by Dori Maga, who favored the Lancia Stratos despite initial challenges. The packaging for the game is revealed, featuring a soft-touch illustration of the Lancia Stratos. The page teases more details in the next issue, scheduled for release on January 22nd. The next page is a preview of Seaman, a simulation game developed by Vivarium. The game involves raising a virtual pet with voice recognition technology, allowing players to communicate with it using a microphone device. The text features an interview with Yutaka Saito, the president of Vivarium, discussing the concept behind Seaman and its connection to his previous game, Tower. He explains that Seaman aims to break the walls of existing games by offering a more intuitive and interactive experience. The game is described as an AI breeding simulation that uses voice recognition technology developed in collaboration with L&H Japan. Screenshots show the aquatic form of Seaman, though it is rumored to have other forms such as terrestrial, plant, and more, and it is implied that the game will be released soon in spring and is compatible with microphone devices. The next page features an interview with Yut Saito regarding his involvement with the Dreamcast game Seaman and his relationship with Sega's Iriza president. Saito discusses the origins of the game concept, his initial meetings with Sega, and the formation of his company, Vivarium. He reflects on the unique and experimental nature of Seaman, aiming for a novel gaming experience distinct from typical console titles. The page includes screenshots from the game and a picture of Saito with Iriza. There's also a section on the Vivarium company, describing their approach to game development, and a photo showcasing the inside of Vivarium, featuring items like a Rosetta Stone replica and a human skeleton model. The next page features a preview of the action RPG Senkoku Turb, or Warring States Turb, a surreal and strange game set on the planet Nekobaketo. The article introduces the game's story, characters like Jino-chan, and gameplay mechanics, highlighting the unique and quirky nature of the Turb world. It mentions that the game is scheduled for release on January 14th, priced at 5,800 yen, and emphasizes that it is a single-player game and the game was not released outside of Japan. This page is the contents page for an issue of Dreamcast Magazine. It features artwork of the character Jino-chan and lists the articles within the magazine, focusing on a game called Senkoku Turb, which was never released outside of Japan. The contents include an opening, episodes 13 titled Visitor, Yummy Poison Fly, and Kumaneko Converter, a case study of Senkoku Turb, and a section called Jinochan Times. The page also highlights pre-release special features. The next page features a preview of episode 01 of an unknown game, possibly unreleased internationally, that involves a character named Jinochan, who crash lands on a planet and is asked to become a savior. The visuals showcase 3D character models and environments. The gameplay seems to involve squad-based tactics, where the player manages a team of characters with different parameters and abilities, giving them orders like suicide, offense, defense, backing, and evacuation. The next page features gameplay details for Neko Para, Cat's Paradise, which appears to be a strategy RPG. It details the battle mode, conversations with NPCs, item hunting, and the location of a spaceship crash site where helpful items can be found early in the game. The page also introduces a drama scene where new soldiers volunteer to join the hero's team, but a jealous prince is unhappy with the hero's success. The next page is from episode 02, Yummy Poison Fly, focusing on the fairy Tainyan, described as a medicinal fairy. The page introduces characters. Gelsomine, the eldest of the Neko Kingdom's generals, who dreams big but lacks practicality. Blower, the youngest of the three siblings, whose words are incomprehensible. And Sonora Face, the second son of the Neko generals, who is intelligent but self-centered. The story involves Gelsomine chasing the fairy Tainyan, which gets caught by Jinochan. A choice is presented: whether to let the fairy go, return it to Gelsomine, or keep it. The page then details equipping items in camp mode, where accessories and weapons acquired in each area can be equipped. It also describes prestigious items for Neko soldiers. Flags, various types like Legendary Flag and Hero Series. Weapons, including Soft Cream and Spiders. Shields, Hero's Shield and Child's Shield. And badges, Legendary Badge and Hero's Badge. The next page previews gameplay elements of Elan, a strategy RPG, where you command troops to conquer territory. It highlights capturing delicious medicine fairies, the effects of which are determined by their color. If things get too tough, you can retreat to a safe mode. The page also touches upon surreal elements in the game's world, and introduces the character of General Neko, who communicates via a wireless device about a secret weapon, the Kumaneko Converter. The next page presents Episode 03, Kumaneko Converter, focusing on the whimsical world of Neko Army. It introduces the concept of converting Kuma, bears, and Usagi, rabbits, into Neko, cats, using a secret weapon called the Kumaneko Converter. The page details the process, showing how the Neko general attempts to transform these creatures, sometimes with humorous and unsuccessful results. The page highlights the importance of equipment for Neko soldiers and warns about their spirit condition, which affects their willingness to follow orders. The page touches upon characters consuming items to recover but warns against overconsumption. It also features screenshots of game interfaces, character stats, and equipment options. The next page showcases Kumaneko, likely a working title, not officially released, focusing on gameplay and character development. It details how to strengthen troops by repeatedly deploying and withdrawing from areas to maximize experience gain. The page also introduces the NPC audition system, which ensures that character appearances and equipment reflect their in-game progress even in story scenes. The page teases future episodes featuring mysterious musicians, dance-loving sheep, and a jealous prince. It shows screenshots of gameplay, characters, and environments. The next page provides a case study for the game Sengoku Turb, offering tips and strategies to help players who may be struggling. Case 1. What to do first. The advice is to simply head out and explore the world. After the initial Episode 1 cutscene, players are free to interact with the environment, NPCs, and missions as they see fit, allowing the game's story to unfold organically. Case 2. Unable to win battles? The game provides throwing weapons early on to ease players into the action. The guide recommends locating the ninja shuriken near the spaceship landing site and using it to attack enemies from a safe distance. Case 3. What if you run out of throwing weapons? Even without projectiles, close quarters combat is possible. The key is to bait the enemy into attacking and missing, creating an opening for a counterattack with melee weapons. Case 4. Getting attacked while selecting items? The solution is to disable the real-time battle setting, RTB, in the system menu. This will prevent enemies from attacking while the player is navigating menus. Additionally, the page offers tips on eating fairies, Yukai Tinyan, to power up the character's stats. By controlling the areas where the fairies are located, players can repeatedly enter and exit the camp mode to consume fairies and increase their stats, focusing on boosting their basic physical strength. This page features a fan page for Senkoku TRB, a game not released outside of Japan. It includes fan submissions, character spotlights, and merchandise ideas. The page highlights fan comments on characters such as Neko Shogun and Gelsomina, and seeks color illustrations and feedback. The page also mentions a special pass case and encourages readers to submit their own TURB goods ideas. The next page previews Evolution, Eternal Dungeons, an RPG developed by Sting Entertainment. The page celebrates the game nearing its release date of January 21st and features a countdown, character artwork, and screenshots. It highlights a special present campaign related to the game and encourages readers to check page 66 for details. The game is published by Sega/ESP for 5,800 yen and is for one player. A staff member from CS Promotion, Yamazaki, shares a celebratory message. The next page features a preview of Evolution, Eternal Dungeon. The storyline revolves around Mag Launcher, an adventurer seeking the legendary Psy-Frame Evolution. He encounters the 8th Imperial Army's survey team, led by the beauty-obsessed Commander Oyen, who aims to control a relic. Key characters include Pepper, a female adventurer interested in Mag. The game focuses on dungeon exploration, Psy-Frame customization, and party selection. Players can choose their third-party member from characters like Gray, Chain, and Pepper. The next page showcases key scenes from the game Evolution, Far Off Promise. It introduces the characters Linear, Gale, and Prince Eigen, highlighting Linear's unique healing abilities without using a Psy-Frame. The page details the story's setup, where the Empire is tracking Psy-Frame reactions originating from Panamu Town, leading Prince Eigen to investigate Mag. Key elements explored include the legacy of the ancient civilization of Evolarcia, the role of Azrock Launcher, the military might of the 8th Empire, Evolarcia detection devices, and the Psy-Frame reaction. The next page delves into scenarios from the game, focusing on the character Eugen and his plans. It appears Eugen is trying to extract information from the character Mag, and is targeting a girl named Ligenia. The page also touches upon the town of Panham, mentioning changes occurring there and the suspicious movements of the Imperial Army. There is also mention of the Society's Archaeological Research Institute and the item shop's updated inventory. The page also reveals that Eugen is planning to kidnap Leonia. The page also shows screenshots of the Society's Archaeological Research Institute, the item shop, where you can buy the wing catcher, fine glass, heavy coat, breast protector, metal tailcoat, gimmick shoes, well-used frying pan, fight gun, charm of confusion, and charm of paralysis, and the bar. This page is a guide for exploring the dungeons in an RPG, likely a game not released outside of Japan, providing preparatory knowledge for dungeon exploration. The guide explains that the dungeons are auto-generated, changing each time you enter. The dungeon exploration flow consists of 3 steps. 1. Walk around inside and collect treasure chests. 2. Defeat monsters to level up. 3. Find the stairs to the next floor. Advice for surviving in the dungeon includes: First test. Stock up on recovery items. Move while watching the auto-mapping display. Retreat frequently. The page notes that there are no exits in the dungeons, so players must use transporters to escape. Treasure chests contain various items, including rare items like psycho-frame parts. The deeper you go, the higher the rate of rare item appearance. The advice is to always open treasure chests, as even seemingly useless items can be valuable. The page also includes screenshots of the game, showing the party exploring dungeons and finding treasure. The next page details special items and key points for navigating dungeons in an unnamed RPG. Special items: Chameleon Color. Avoids combat on one floor by making enemies unable to see you, but contact initiates battle. Ruin Search. Instantly completes the current floor's map, effective for one floor. Item search. Highlights treasure chests on the automap. The effect lasts only on the current floor. Thermosearch. Acts like a radar to show enemy locations, distinguishing treasure chests. The effect is for one floor. Trap search. Reveals invisible traps on one floor, allowing players to avoid them. Important points. Transporters. These warp devices are randomly located, often near save points before boss battles, and allow players to escape dungeons. Temporary saves and floor transitions. Saving is possible by moving to the next floor via stairs. Stairs are randomly placed, so players might need to search for them. Save data is deleted after loading. Traps. These have random effects when stepped on. Some are hidden, while others are visible, and some heal while others inflict damage. Trapped locations can be avoided by jumping. Trap effects include HP reduction, darkness, poison gas, full HP recovery, and FP increase. The next page details the Shinki Sekai Evolution, Eternal Dungeon system, focusing on Psy-Frame, the customizable exoskeletons, with slots for parts to enhance abilities and learn special moves. Players can acquire new parts and upgrade slots to strengthen their Psy-Frames. It also includes a preview of Shinki Sekai Evolution and advertises an in-store demo with a campaign to win exclusive items. By playing the demo at Dreamcast partner stores and sending in the magazine's entry ticket, 300 people will be selected to win Evolution premium items. The demo features opening events, towns, dungeons, and battles, and is available from January 14th. The next page introduces 3 new Psy-Frame skills. It features Mag Launcher with the Air Comet equip, Chain Gun with the Flamingo equip, and Pepperbox with the Mora Solnier equip. Each character's Psy-Frame skills are detailed with attack and support techniques. Mag Launcher has Magna Rock for attack and Dr. M for support. Chain Gun has Double Counter for attack and Answer Shout for support. Pepperbox features Death Metal for attack and Power Drain for support. The page is also running a present campaign from Volume 3, January 8th issue, to Volume 5, January 29th issue. Readers who send in the password will be entered into a lottery to win original items. The prizes include a Linear Cannon premium figure for 50 winners, a Mag Launcher stainless steel mug cup for 100 winners, and a Linear Cannon telephone card for 150 winners. To enter, participants need to record the password displayed at the end of the game's trial version and attach an application ticket from Dreamcast Magazine Volume 3 to Volume 5 to a postcard with the password clearly written. The entry must be sent to the Dreamcast Magazine editorial department by January 30th. The next page is a preview of the Dreamcast game Web Mystery, a mystery adventure where the player solves puzzles using the internet, starring a character named Kimura Hatsushi, with the game only 70% complete. The game is being developed by Panasonic Wonder Entertainment and is scheduled for release in the spring of 1999, priced at 5,800 yen and for single player only. Kimura Hatsushi discusses how the game blends live-action video with the internet and solves mysteries. According to him, the game's setting and gameplay revolve around the internet, with the player visiting various web pages to gather clues and progress. Kimura also shares his reasons for using live-action video, mentioning that it allows for faster production compared to CG and provides a more realistic feel. This page is an interview with the creator of Web Mystery, a Dreamcast game. The interview explores the game's themes, development process, and unique features. The creator discusses the game's blend of live-action age and game system elements, emphasizing a clear separation between the two. The production aims for a series format, with multiple scenarios already in development. The game is set in locations like Hong Kong and Seoul, exploring historical and multifaceted aspects of these cities. The creator talks about his stance on the internet, using it practically rather than deeply immersing himself in online culture. The game features realistic narratives with relatable characters, focusing on a former computer engineer solving mysteries through internet access. The game also allows players to browse web pages within the game, offering various reactions and uncovering hidden content. The creator also touches on the game's message about modern society through the lens of the internet, aiming to create a sense of realism and wonder. The next page is a preview of Aerodancing featuring Blue Impulse, a flight simulator for the Dreamcast. The game emphasizes realism, with attention to detail in aircraft models, including markings and lighting. It features air brakes that players can control, and the game recreates the torching phenomenon. The game is 55% complete and is scheduled for release in March, costing 5,800 yen. It supports up to 4 players. The developers note the game features helicopter views of Tokyo at night. The next page features an article on the flight combat simulator Aero Wings, also known as Aero Fighters, outside of Japan. The article discusses the concept of GLOC, G-force-induced loss of consciousness, which can occur during high G maneuvers in flight and lead to temporary loss of control. This version is on Dreamcast and is the first time to realistically reproduce the effect in a home console game. It explains how G-lock happens due to blood flow shifting in the body under high acceleration, causing vision to be impaired, readout or blackout, and potentially leading to unconsciousness. The game also highlights the danger of crashing if the player loses control due to GLOC or other errors, emphasizing the need for careful piloting. Featured aircraft are the F-86F, T-2, and T-4. The next page details the controls and features of aerodancing. It highlights how the game meticulously recreates the aircraft's operation. The page shows how to use the X button to switch between cockpit view and behind view. It explains how to use the directional buttons to control air brakes and flaps, with a warning about stalling. The last section focuses on the F-15DJ's air intake, showcasing how its variable mechanism is realistically reproduced, adjusting its angle based on subsonic and supersonic flight. The next page is an instruction manual spread for the flight combat simulator, Aero Dancing F, Todoroki Tsubasa no Hatsuhiko, which was never released outside of Japan. The page details the various controls used in the game, including the ailerons, elevators, rudder, jet nozzle, landing gear, and smoke deployment. Each control is explained with a diagram of the Dreamcast controller and an explanation of how it affects the aircraft. The next page is a preview of Capcom's Power Stone, a 3D arena-based fighting game for the NAOMI arcade board and Dreamcast. The Dreamcast version is 60% complete, while the arcade version is 95% complete. It is an action fighting game for 12 players, and it is suitable for all ages. The arcade version is scheduled to be released this winter. The preview highlights the basic controls, an 8-directional joystick for movement and 3 action buttons. It describes the punch, kick, and jump actions. It also shows off the 2 P color schemes for the characters. The page introduces 2 characters, Fokker, who is balanced and strong with powerful combos, and Ayame, who relies on her work and speed. The preview mentions that when she transforms, her speed increases further, but her power is somewhat weaker. This page is focused on Power Stone, showcasing more of the game's features and characters. It highlights several gameplay techniques, performing counters, using the environment for attacks and advantages, and invincibility during transformations. The page also introduces characters such as Wangtang, Gunrock, Jack, Galuda, Rouge, and Ryoma. The next page is a preview for Monaco Grand Prix, Racing Simulation 2, showcasing the Dreamcast version of the game. It highlights the realistic aspects of the game, from the car handling to the detailed customization options. The game features 17 courses and 22 drivers across 11 teams. The preview mentions a retro mode featuring classic cars from the 1950s. The game was developed by UBI Soft and scheduled for release on February 18th and retailed for 5,800 yen. The preview includes some screenshots of the game and the editor features. The magazine gives the game an 80% completion rating. The article also includes a quote from the developer at UBI Soft, who praises the game's realism. The game features circuits from countries such as Belgium, Europe, Argentina, Australia, France, Germany, Brazil, Luxembourg, Monaco, Japan, Canada, UK, Italy, Hungary, and San Marino. The next page showcases a preview of a racing game, emphasizing its realistic simulation aspects. It boasts 3 modes: arcade for casual racing, simulation for detailed car customization, and retro for classic 1950s racing. The game features 4 camera angles, including a driver's view with functional mirrors. The simulation mode lets players fine-tune their cars, realistically affecting performance, thanks to Renault's collaboration. In retro mode, players can enjoy classic racing, with vintage cars and challenging handling. Car settings can be adjusted by both driver and engineer, influencing aspects such as the engine, tires, and suspension. The next page features a preview of Puyo Puyo 4, which was released internationally as Puyo Puyon. The preview introduces new characters, including a clown named Pierrot and a girl named Chico. It highlights the new special ability system and that the game is 90% complete and was released in March 1999 for 5,800 yen. It is an action puzzle game and supports 14 players and VM. The developers were working hard to complete the master version by the end of December. The next page is a preview of Puyo Puyon, a puzzle game on the Dreamcast. It explains the Special Skills System, a new addition where each character has unique abilities. For example, Sari can change the color of isolated Puyo to match adjacent ones, Chico can move Puyo around, and Witch can use lightning to clear a line of Puyo. The page also notes that Arlina cannot use special skills in story mode, but support characters will use them instead. Draco's special skill, Draco Centauros, clears all Puyo of the color at the top of the screen, and the page gives examples of how to use it effectively. The page also includes a small profile for Noho, a frog character who loves curry but is allergic to it. The next page is an advertisement for Human Academy, a school that provides courses for game creators, CG creators, game programmers, sound creators, CG designers, scenario writers, and CG animators. The ad highlights the Academy's network of locations and the career support it offers. It mentions companies where graduates have been placed, including Hudson, Atlas, Sega Enterprises, Square, SNK, NTT, Capcom, IBM, Sharp, and more. It also briefly mentions courses in 3D CG animation using Softimage and Lightwave, game planning, programming, character design, and digital sound creation. The next page is a reader submission corner called Guru Powers. It features reader artwork, comments, and questions. There are sections dedicated to the Dream Plaza, where readers share their dreams and aspirations. It mentions reader submissions related to games like Virtua Fighter 3TB, Sakura Wars, and Dreamcast titles. There are also character introductions for Uzumaki Sisters and Uzumaki Cat. This page features the Illustration Garden Corner, inviting readers to submit artwork based on the themes Machine World Evolution and Sengoku Turb. The page highlights reader submissions and proposes new segments for a character called Casti, aiming to develop his personality. Suggestions include Brothers' Dreams, discussing the future and evolution of the Dreamcast. Sega in 2099, imagining Sega's state 100 years in the future. Saturn Stream, a segment involving used Sega Saturn consoles. A segment for those who feel angry about society. A corner to discuss games with Casti. Reader artwork includes depictions of characters and themes related to a Sengoku Turb, with a Melina character making predictions, and a Geno character exploring historical themes. The next page features a Q&A section with cat-themed advice, addressing questions about the correct abbreviation for Pocari Sweat, and seeking advice on enjoying gal games like Tokimeki Memorial and Sakura Wars. There's a corner for girls chat, discussing topics like favorite gal games and personal charm points. The page also showcases fan art submissions for Sengoku Turb, with various illustrations and comments on the game. Games mentioned are Tokimeki Memorial series and Sakura Wars series. This page is a reader submission section called New Year's Laugh Out Loud Funny Gag. There are illustrations and comments from readers. Games mentioned: Sonic Adventure, Virtua Fighter 3 TRF, Black Matrix, Gundam related to Saturn, Dreamcast games in general. There are also featured readers from various prefectures. The section also includes a call for new character designs and fan submissions for the magazine. There is also a section with mailing information for submissions. A list of readers who will receive a gift, including readers from Yamagata Prefecture, Osaka Prefecture, Wakayama Prefecture, Hokkaido Prefecture, Tochigi Prefecture, Fukuoka Prefecture, and Aichi Prefecture. This page is an advertisement for a mail-order shop called Santa, selling Sega Saturn games, accessories, and other items. It lists a wide variety of games for the Saturn, including new releases and older titles, along with their prices. Also listed are Mega Drive and GG Game Gear games with prices. The ad also includes information about ordering, payment methods, and shipping costs. The next page features a profile of Rakugo performer Shinpei Hayashiya, a Rakugo performer and paper cutout artist. The page discusses his background, including his start in Rakugo after watching Sanpei Hayashiya on TV, his unique style, and his current involvement in NWO Rakugo Kai. It also mentions his paper cutout performances and an upcoming event at the Ikebukuro Engeho Theater. The page includes an image of Hayashiya, as well as images of him in costume as a giant Ultraman character. This page shows an article about paper cutting art, featuring Rakugo artist Shinpei Hayashida, who creates paper cutouts of famous characters such as King Ghidorah, Pikachu, and Ultraman. The article highlights his unique approach to costume making, and his passion for transforming into characters like Ultraman during his performances. He also enjoys cutting out characters like Ultraman and Alien. This page is a chapter of the Something Yoshimatsu Theater manga series. The chapter is titled Year-End Investigation Line Part 2 Inches and features a series of comic strips with characters designed as anthropomorphic game consoles and controllers, going through various comedic situations and industry scenarios. Some of the situations included feature the topic of low-rated TV shows and game development. The manga also has a blurb about the author, Something Yoshimatsu, as an animation creator who is working on Jubei-chan and as a game reviewer. The next page features an article titled The Best Moment of My Life, with an interview and biography of musician Hiroshi Hayama, known for his work on the Cho Aniki game series. Hayama discusses his experiences performing live, how it changed his perspective, and the rush of being on stage. He recounts his debut live performance in 1993, the anxiety leading up to it, and the overwhelming support he received from fans. Hayama also mentions his upcoming album, Cho Aniki Legend Best and Super Remix. The page includes images of Hayama and information about his discography and website. The next page has a column by Fumio Kurokawa, titled Black or Black, focusing on Sega and the game Shenmue. Kurokawa, who previously worked at Sega, offers his New Year's greetings and discusses his experience at the Shenmue announcement event held at Pacifico Yokohama by Sega AM2 and Yu Suzuki. Kurokawa humorously describes the event, noting the large scale of the presentation and Yu Suzuki's dedication. He touches on the game's new elements like time control, magic weather, and QTE battles, but expresses some uncertainty about whether it truly feels like a cohesive game. He mentions the presence of notable figures and the unique concept of leisurely, abundant, and thorough gameplay. The article concludes with a description of the event's souvenirs, including dolls, t-shirts, pamphlets, and special paper bags. This page is a column by Izumi Takemoto. Takemoto discusses several topics: whether the Dreamcast can be used for video calls with a microphone device, card games, wanting to draw cute or fluffy creatures, goblins, bad-tempered birds, Dreamcast communication, modular jacks, cats, Zelda, cardboard boxes, and New Year's resolutions, including trying not to miss deadlines, not eating too many sweets, and limiting coffee intake. The next page is an anime and manga feature, focusing on the Kenpu Denki Berserk TV adaptation of the popular manga Berserk. It includes character descriptions for Guts, Griffith, and Casca, along with story summaries for episodes 23 and 24 of the anime series. There's also a small section about the manga, noting that the Youth arc has concluded, and the Revenge arc is forthcoming. The first 16 volumes of the manga are also available. A brief preview is given for the Dreamcast game Berserk, describing it as a 3D action title where players control Guts as he pursues the God Hand and Femto. It's slated for a 1999 release in Japan, developed by ASC2. The next page is an advertisement for anime on TV services, including SKY Perfect TV and DirecTV. It lists upcoming shows and channels featuring anime such as Lupin III, and series related to the works of Osamu Tezuka. Specific titles mentioned include Jungle Emperor and Blackjack. There are contact details for customer support for both TV services. Also featured are anime titles being released on VHS or DVD, including Harlock Saga, Saber Marionette Jada X, Bubblegum Crisis Tokyo 2040, Cyber Formula Sin, Gundam W Endless Waltz, Gasaraki, Vampire Princess Mayu Integral, Twinbee Paradise Volume 0, Welcome to Pia 2 Menu 2, and Muto Island Story X. This page is dedicated to supporting the sound novel Machi. It features fan contributions and discussions related to the game Machi. There's a free talk section where readers ask questions and share opinions, a gallery section showcasing fan art of the game, and a People You See in Town section highlighting real-life people who resemble characters from Machi. The page also includes a Chunsoft News section announcing the upcoming release of the PlayStation version of Machi, Unmei no Kusaten, which translates to Machi, Crossroads of Destiny, highlighting its improved features like the silhouette mode. Finally, there's an urgent announcement for a postcard campaign celebrating the game's first anniversary. The next page is an advert for an OVA fanbook based on the Sega Saturn title Sakura Taisen, known internationally as Sakura Wars. The fanbook is for sale and includes details such as staff interviews, story digests, and unreleased design materials. It also features a threefold poster and uses seal art, with the ad highlighting that the production is ongoing. The price of the book is 1,800 yen and has 96 pages. This page is an application form for readers to fill out and send back. It includes sections for personal information like gender, age, school/occupation, and what magazines they read. There are also questions about the reader's opinion on the current issue and what articles they found interesting or not. The form also includes lists of hardware and software for both the Dreamcast and Sega Saturn, asking readers what hardware they own or plan to buy and what Dreamcast/Saturn games they want to buy in the future. Some of the games mentioned include Akihabara Cyber Team Potato Pies, Web Mystery, The Looking Glass Eyes, Arrow Dancing featuring Blue Impulse, SD Hiryu, No Ken Double Dragon, Elemental Gimmick Gear, Geist Force, North, White Illumination, Carrier, Cool Borders, Grandia 2, Shenmue, Biohazard Code, Veronica, Marvel vs. Capcom, Clash of Heroes, Monaco Grand Prix Racing Simulation 2, With You, US Drug Champ, Sonic 3D, Flicky's Island. The next page features an advertisement for the Sakura Wars series. Specifically, it promotes the Sakura Wars musical show with a photo diary from the production of Tsubasa, the second Flower Division special performance, and a stage shot of the show, and announces its release in February. The price is 2,500 yen. Also advertised are Sakura Wars 2, Original Art and Setting Material Collection, which is currently available, and the Sakura Wars OVA fanbooks Oka Kenran, Volumes 1 and 2, which are also currently available. The price for each is 1,800 yen. The next page is a preview of Pro Yaku Tsukuro, Let's Make a Professional Baseball Team, which was never released outside of Japan. The page highlights new information about the game revealed at a recent event. It features screenshots of the gameplay where you feed the characters. There are also comments from Sega's Yamazaki about the game's upcoming spring release. Apparently, a video shown at the event revealed details about mini-stadiums, and more information will be released later. This page is an advertisement for the game Senkoku Turb, which was never released outside of Japan. It also serves as a pre-order campaign application form with details like name, age, address, and phone number fields. It mentions a prize draw for 10,000 people to win a special pass holder. The advert also lists the release date, January 14, 1999, and the price as 5,800 yen, and provides contact information for NEC Home Electronics and website addresses. This page is a contents page highlighting several games. It mentions Sonic Adventure, along with a guide to raising chows, Seventh Cross, with details on items and creature data, as well as map strategies for the amphibian area. Incoming, referencing a final battle on the moon. The next page features Sonic Adventure. It includes a strategy guide focusing on the Sonic and Tails casino area, detailing their journey from Mystic Ruins to Station Square, and their challenge in Casino Polis to find the Chaos Emerald. The preview also mentions a unique pinball stage. The page highlights the presence of Chow, and directs readers to page 108 for cow-related information. It also previews the Station Square area at night. A hot news section announces the appearance of Nights into Dreams, including the night stage in Casino Polis. Screenshots on the page include gameplay of both Casino Polis and a Nights-themed bonus stage, and gameplay images from the game. This page is a strategy guide for Sonic Adventure on the Dreamcast. It focuses on the Casino Polis stage within Station Square. The guide details how to find the Chaos Emeralds, specifically navigating the pinball stages. It also mentions that if you don't let Eggman steal them, Sonic cannot transform. The page shows how to get power-up items in Station Square, like the light shoes for Sonic, which enable lightspeed dashes, and the jet anklet for Tails, increasing his flying speed. The guide explains that after completing Casino Polis, players can find the Ice Key, which unlocks a cave in Mystic Ruins leading to the Ice Cap stage. It has hints and tips for both Sonic and Tails stages, including the snowboarding section that's unique to Tails' playthrough. The page also mentions a scene where Dr. Eggman ambushes Sonic and Tails, stealing a Chaos Emerald. The next page is a strategy guide for Sonic Adventure, focusing on the Casino Polis stage. It details both Sonic and Tails' objectives. Sonic must collect 400 rings, while Tails needs to reach the goal before Sonic. The guide mentions the enemy Spina and gives tips on how to defeat it. It also points out the animals that can be rescued in the Windy Valley. Furthermore, it describes the conditions to clear the Casino Polis stage, the pinball challenges, and what happens if you fail, with losing all lives resulting in a game over. If you have less than 100 rings, you will be sent to the garbage dump action stage. The guide advises players to charge rings at the vault, collecting over 400 rings to get the Chaos Emerald. It also offers a quote from the Sonic team's Iizuka, recommending a relaxed approach to the jazzy stage and suggesting that Knuckles can reach the ceiling in the pinball area. The next page features a strategy guide for the Casino Polis stage in Sonic Adventure. The guide provides tips for navigating the stage as Sonic and Tails, including escaping the garbage dump area, Pook, avoiding iron balls in the corridors, navigating the final area with rotating iron balls and spike traps. It also mentions that rings can be obtained from the slot machines by attacking them, and describes how the central hall in the slot pinball area requires players to aim for the slot and earn bonus events. The card pinball area requires you to hit the cards to open the door to the Nightmare stage and collect idea pieces to earn bonus rings. The next page features a walkthrough for the Ice Cap Zone from Sonic Adventure. It details both Sonic and Tails stages, with objectives such as Sonic getting the Chaos Emerald and Tails racing Sonic on a snowboard. It also introduces enemies like the Ice Ball and Boa Boa. The page offers tips on navigating the icicles and highlights the 3 elements of the stage: snow mountain climbing, ice cave exploration, and snowboarding. It also notes that this is the first appearance of the gorilla animal to rescue. The next page details tips and tricks for the Ice Cap stage in Sonic Adventure. It provides guidance on navigating icy slopes, cavernous areas, and falling icicles. It gives advice on timing jumps across icicles, taking advantage of springs, and avoiding enemies. The page also highlights the snowboarding scene, encouraging players to embrace the speed and excitement while dodging obstacles and enemy fire. This page is about raising and racing Chao in Sonic Adventure. It includes tips for winning races, such as using animals to influence the KO's stats and feeding them certain fruit. The page also introduces Cow Adventure for the Visual Memory Unit, VMU, which allows you to train your cow while on the go. It also provides mail address information for sending questions about Sonic Team. The next page features an article titled, "Listening to the Chao Team, The Birth of Cute Chao." This article is the first in a series where the Cow Team, created specifically within Sonic Team, shares the secrets of Cow from the game Sonic Adventure. The article features interviews with key members of the Chao development team, including Director Takashi Iizuka, Planner Shiro Maekawa, Designer Toru Watanuki, Programmer Yoshihisa Hashimoto. The team discusses the concept of moyasu, roughly captivating, or killing with charm, as a key element in Chao's design. They describe how they studied babies to capture the essence of cuteness and implemented it into the game. The article also notes that the female designer, Kawamura, was responsible for the KO's design, which aimed to evoke maternal instincts. The team put a lot of effort into the character's design. The team also share that a secret lies behind the name of the Chao, and to really get to know the Chao, you have to play Sonic Adventure and explore the game for its secrets. The next page offers a strategy guide for 7 Cross, a simulation RPG developed by NEC Home Electronics. It focuses on providing tips for inputting DNA sheets in the game, explaining the self-organization map system. The page details the importance of shape recognition by the in-game AI Neuro and advises players to gradually introduce variations to the shapes they input to train the AI effectively. It also clarifies that color is not a factor in shape recognition, but is tied to ability stat upgrades. The guide provides visual examples of how to evolve shapes to acquire different parts, illustrating both successful and unsuccessful approaches to DNA input. It includes diagrams and explanations of ability scores, such as attack, defense, intelligence, heal, and dexterity. The next page delves into the DNA sheet input tips for a game, explaining how to manipulate the on-screen figures to influence the game's neurosystem. It mentions that abrupt changes should be avoided, and explains how the game's system processes and outputs data based on the shapes entered. The page encourages experimentation and understanding of the neurosystem to create the desired outcomes, also showing examples for what you need to do to enter a contest related to the game, where you send in parts and diagrams and other data. The page includes 3 character designs from the magazine's editorial staff as examples of what you should do. The next page is a strategy guide for Nightmare Creatures 2 inches, focusing on Area 3, the amphibian zone. It details the area's characteristics, noting the ineffectiveness of fire-based EXPOWER due to the dense fog, but highlighting the effectiveness of water-based EXPOWER due to the high moisture content. The guide includes a map indicating item locations and their probabilities: herbs, mushrooms, red ore, crystal H, yellow ore, orange ore, palm nuts, and blue ore, as well as an evolution crystal. It also describes the poison and toxin status ailments, explaining their effects and remedies. The page also introduces a new body component, hard shell, HC, and NUROBIO, NB, explaining how to acquire them, focusing on collecting HC from a specific creature. The next page features maps and data from an action RPG. Map 2 and Map 3 are shown, along with enemy data for creatures like the Usan Shao, frog, salamander, newt, axolotl, and the boss enemy, Tonosama frog. It also gives tips on which body parts to equip. The next page features a preview of Incoming Human Extinction, a shooting game. It highlights the game's setting on the moon with low gravity and dark environments, focusing on the advanced weaponry developed to combat the alien threat. The page details the player's mission to destroy the alien's lunar base and the challenges of fighting in unfamiliar conditions. It also mentions the agile ZF-2 Tempest spacecraft, emphasizing its maneuverability, but noting its weak armor, requiring skilled piloting. The game's weapon data is also presented, highlighting the craft's mobility, attack power, and armor rating. The next page details strategy for Phase 1 and Phase 2 inches of a game, likely not released outside of Japan, where the player must defend a base and eliminate enemy tanks and aircraft. It emphasizes swift action, prioritizing targets based on radar, and utilizing appropriate weaponry. A hover tank called the M51A2 Griffon is discussed, highlighting its speed and maneuverability. There is also a section about the ZF-4 Lance heavy spacefighter. The page provides weapon data and tactical advice for both units. This page is a strategy guide for Phase 3 of an unspecified game, focusing on destroying enemy facilities. The guide emphasizes a balance of caution and boldness, detailing mission procedures and instructions from command. The mission involves destroying 5 shielded enemy facilities, requiring players to first eliminate shield generators before attacking the facilities themselves. The guide advises against reckless attacks, recommending the use of auxiliary weapons for generators and a high-angle approach for facilities. The guide breaks down the phase into 5 sets, each targeting specific shield generators and facilities in Crater 1 and Crater 2. It warns of enemy encounters and the importance of avoiding shield contact to minimize damage. The final set is described as relatively straightforward, advising players to focus on destroying remaining enemies. The next page is a strategy guide for what appears to be a mech combat game. It details Phase 4, protecting Allied facilities, and Phase 5, protecting the tank division. Phase 4 focuses on using guided missiles to eliminate incoming enemy aircraft. The player is instructed to focus on shooting down enemies, with the only order being to defend the facilities. The Important Enemy Forces section highlights light combat aircraft. Phase 5 shifts to protecting a tank division while destroying enemy ground facilities. The guide notes that this mission is mainly aerial combat. The player is advised to stay vigilant and use guided missiles when enemies approach. The mission objectives include protecting Allied aircraft, destroying enemy AT guns and facilities, and repelling enemy fighter attacks. Satellite laser warnings are given, advising players to avoid enemy facility airspace to avoid being hit by a deadly laser. The battle is now at its climax, the page states, noting the escalating conflict. The guide warns of increasingly fierce attacks and the introduction of new weapons. Again, it ends with a question: who will be the winner in the Dark Universe? There is also a note that there are still hidden forces on the player's side. This page is about creating a Dreamcast homepage using the console itself. It details what is needed, such as the Dreamcast unit and an internet connection. It highlights that knowledge of HTML is helpful but not essential. as it's primarily text-based. The page explains that a hosting space is required to make the web page accessible. It emphasizes the limitations of creating a homepage solely on the Dreamcast due to the lack of tools for creating text and image data, no hard drive for storage, and costs associated with server hosting. It includes a screenshot of the Dreamcast web browser showing the quick access menu. It mentions that creating a homepage on the Dreamcast is probably impossible. The next page is about GeoCities, a free web hosting service. It highlights the features of GeoCities and how Dreamcast users can create their own homepages. The page includes a visual representation of the virtual city, with different districts like Silicon Valley, Broadway, and Hollywood, each catering to specific interests. It also has an interview with a GeoCities producer, Nemiya, who explains the concept of GeoCities and its community-driven approach. He mentions that there are around 190,000 registered users, with many utilizing the Dreamcast. The next page provides a tutorial on how to create a website on GeoCities. It covers the steps of finding a community to build in, registering a citizen ID, and using the file manager. It also gives tips on what to do if you run into problems, such as if the ID you want is already taken, or if a house says occupied. The next page is a guide on creating a website for the Dreamcast. It explains how to use the built-in editor, covering topics like accessing the editor through the file manager, editing the appearance of the page, including background and text colors, quote, adding titles, headings, separators, texts, and links, using HTML code for formatting. The page also shows a sample website screenshot featuring links to Sega's homepage and Dorica's homepage. This page provides a guide on how to create a profile page for your website using GeoCities' basic HTML editor. It walks through the steps of creating a new HTML file named profile.html, editing the page with personal information, and linking it to the main index.html page. The page also includes advice on using HTML tags, customizing colors, and adding a link back to the top page. The page refers to sample games and genres, including music games, role-playing games, action games, card duel games, and fighting games. The next page has instructions on how to make a homepage for the Dreamcast. First, modify the index.html file to allow jumping to the profile.html file, add the provided text to the end of the file, preview to make sure the link works, and save. Then, check the homepage online to confirm everything is working. A section addresses potential jumping problems. There is also a call for people who have created HP on the Dreamcast. In addition to a link directory for DC-made HP, there is also a Q&A section. The example HP address is http://www.geocities.co.jp/playtowns. /7678/. This page is an introduction to Naomi's Room, featuring upcoming titles for the Dreamcast, focusing on Zombie Zone, a new arcade action and gun shooting game, a collaboration between Sega and Action. It supports two-player gameplay, with a completion rate of 35% at the time. The game's story involves agents Stick, Linda, and Dokujima, who are tasked with stopping the rampaging undead and uncovering the truth behind a stolen military project. It offers a unique gameplay experience that combines direct attacks and shooting, with impressive graphics and camera angles. The game is controlled using an analog lever, along with guard, attack, and shoot buttons. Early impressions suggest that the character's shooting power feels somewhat weak, with expectations for further adjustments. The next page features a preview of Zombie Zone, which was only released in Japan for the arcades and Sega Naomi hardware. Episode 1 is named Absolute Closed Area and takes place in Woodside City and Edward Street. The game involves rescuing Yoko, who has a floppy disk with vital information. The boss featured is UDSO3. Players can use the environment as a weapon by pulling pipes out of zombies and using them to attack. The game also has a hold system for special attacks. If you share NAOMI and Dreamcast Clear data, extra Dreamcast stages might be unlocked. The bottom of the page contains a Naomi schedule list, with Dynamite Baseball Naomi already in operation, Power Stone scheduled for release this winter, and Zombie Zone and Dead or Alive 2 inches with unspecified release dates. Dynamite Baseball Naomi is at 100% development. The next page covers From Iced Planet, a fan page dedicated to Pen Pen Triicelon. It features time attack contest results for the Nakamura Cup, The first Dreamcast contest. The page highlights the skills required, including course strategy and perfect strokes. The Master of Pen ranking is shown as of December 25, 1998. The first place is 2 feet 23 inches 79, and the second place is 2 feet 23 inches 81, both achieved using the character Buck. Tips for improving times are shared, focusing on cornering techniques and character selection. The game's creator Nakamura also gives advice and also shares some tactics for the multiplayer mode and the use of Zakopen characters. The next page features Rent a Hero Returns, a Sega unofficial project for Mega Drive and Dreamcast. It highlights the goal of realizing a sequel and celebrates the game ranking first in a poll. The page expresses nostalgia for the game, noting its unique BGM and potential for a Sega Ages release, and mentions a desire for a live-action TV series and stage shows. The page includes a section called Burari Keikyu Hitori Tabi, or A Solitary Trip on the Keikyu Line, focusing on Otori, the real-life location of Sega's headquarters, with photos of the area. A section called Oreto Rent Hero discusses how the person became inspired by the game. There is a chart indicating that the game is ranked at number 1. The page solicits submissions from fans who love Rent a Hero, and lists the names of selected contributors. The names are SS Amato Memora, Go, Asami Nao, Hashimoto Masayoshi, Sasebe An, Natsu Ichigo, Miss Cool, Murayama Yasunori, Komura Kazuhito, Ume Asia 2i, Asano Rumi, Nojuju, Nu, and Fushigi Sanjiro. The next page features a selection of analog games popular in 1998. It highlights the Magic: The Gathering trading card game, noting its worldwide popularity and Japanese versions. Information on starter decks, booster packs, and contact details for Hobby Japan are included. Next, Pokemon trading card game for kids and adults is featured, mentioning its origin on Game Boy and the national tournaments. Also shared are the details for starter decks and booster packs, along with a link to the official website. Judgment is presented as a unique card game based on courtroom drama. Naizuken game is described as a quirky card game where players connect human organs. Lastly, the page showcases the Monster Maker series, a fantasy-themed card game known for its cute characters and simple rules. The next page features a selection of board and card games. The Life Game board game, known as the Game of Life in the US, is highlighted, showcasing its initial reproduction edition and LCD versions. Also featured is Scotland Yard, a chase game where players try to catch Mr. X in London. Then there's Densha de Go card game, a card game version of the popular train simulation game. Lastly, Shin Megami Tensei TRPG, Awakening Edition, is mentioned, along with an explanation of tabletop RPGs and a screenshot from an action game adaptation of Dungeons & Dragons. Additionally, the page promotes Monster Maker games, School Festival, School Trip, and Magic Master Series 13. The next page features a selection of board and card games from 1998, emphasizing analog games. Ursupe, Primordial Soup, a game where players nurture amoebas in a primordial soup setting, using genetic cards for evolution. It supports 34 players and is available from Mebius. Elfenland, a fantasy-themed game where players navigate as young elves through a magical world. It supports 26 players and also available from Mebius. Bluff, a dice game of deception and psychological strategy, where players try to outwit their opponents. It supports 26 players and is available from Mebius. Tycoon, a business simulation game where players travel the world, build hotels and factories, and manage finances. It supports 24 players and is available from Mebius. The next page highlights a selection of board and card games. It features El Grande, a strategy-focused board game set in Spain. 6. Nimpt, a card game where players try to avoid being the one to place the 6th card in a row. Ed. Hageta Taka no Ejiki, a card game that is similar to the card game High Society. Coup Handle, a card game with cute illustrations, testing players' negotiation skills. Kuko, a card game originating in Italy centuries ago. Show Manager, where players act as producers creating musical performances. This page showcases various trading card games popular in 1998, featuring titles such as Monster Collection, Shin Megami Tensei Trading Card Game, Chaos Gear, Vampire Savior, Darkstalkers, Super Robot Wars, Arcana Strikes, Star Wars, Armored Trooper Votoms. The page also includes a section on where to purchase these games, mentioning stores like Tokyo Hands and Yellow Submarine, as well as online retailers. There's also a puzzle and board and card game specialty store called Misibius. The next page features a special on card games, specifically, card games playable on the Sega Saturn. The page highlights the SD Gundam Cardass series and card vending machines with various card games available. It also mentions the barcode battler system, where barcodes are used to influence the stats of cards. Featured Saturn games with card elements: Arcana Strikes, Solvay's, Textort Rude, Arcana Senki, Card of Scepter, Shadow of the Task. The bottom section details a giveaway of various items, including Magic: The Gathering 5th Edition Starter Decks, Magic: The Gathering T-shirts and caps, a Monster Maker prize, Chaos Gear Starter and Boosters, Vampire Savior Volume 1 and Volume 2 Starter and Boosters. The next page features the cover of Sega Saturn Magazine, dated January 22-29, 1999. The cover story is about the Sega Saturn Magazine Grand Prix 1998, awarding the top 213 Sega Saturn games released between December 23, 1997 and December 23, 1998. It mentions upcoming games. There are also sections covering Sega Saturn Magazine Data Station, Sega Saturn Reader's Race, Sega Saturn Software Review, Roommate W Futari, and Touryu Densetsu Elendor. Also included is a complete guide covering Noel 3, Girl Doll Toy, and Sakura Taisen, Taigeki Graph. The next page features the Sega Saturn Magazine Grand Prix for 1998, highlighting the nominated games and award categories. It notes the shift in user interest from the Saturn to the Dreamcast. The Best Work Award is introduced, aiming to determine the MVP title representing 1998. The selection criteria include the game's completion quality, popularity, and sales. Genre-specific awards have been discontinued. A playback section revisits past winners. 1996. Sakura Wars, Sakura Taisen, took the top spot, winning 6 awards out of 20 categories. 1995. Virtua Fighter, released alongside the Saturn, won by a large margin. 1997. Grandia dethroned Sega's stronghold, with licensed titles dominating the top 5. The next page is a Sega Saturn Magazine Grand Prix 1998 awards page. It features several game awards, such as Best Graphics, Best Music, Best Scenario, and Best Port. The games listed under each category are Best Graphics, Grandia, Panzer Dragoon 2 Zwei, and Panzer Dragoon. Best Music, Grandia, Nights into Dreams, and Daytona USA. Best Scenario, Grandia, Sakura Wars, and Magic Knight Rayearth. Best Port, X-Men vs. Street Fighter, The King of Fighters 95, and Layer Section, also known as Rayforce. Best Male Character, Justin from Grandia, and Jackie Bryant from Virtua Fighter 2. Best Female Character, Sakura Shinguji from Sakura Wars, Fina from Grandia, and Sarah Bryant from Virtua Fighter. The text describes the criteria for each award and provides short descriptions of why each game was nominated. The Sega Saturn Magazine Grand Prix 1998 nominees are detailed, listing games released for the Sega Saturn between December 23, 1997 and March 31, 1998, excluding re-releases and collections. Titles range across genres, from Castlevania, Symphony of the Night, to Panzer Dragoon RPG and Wipeout XL, showcasing a diverse selection of games. The accompanying page urges readers to assess the nominees carefully, noting that quantity doesn't always equal quality. A genre abbreviation key is provided for clarity. Despite the impending arrival of the Dreamcast, the editors emphasized the Saturn's ongoing strength and the high caliber of games released in 1998 for the console. The next page features results from the Sega Saturn Magazine Grand Prix 98 popularity poll. Categories include Best Graphics, Best Scenario, Best Male Character, Best Female Character, Best Music, Best Transferred Game, and Best Game. There's also space for freeform comments and personal information. The next page presents the Sega Saturn Grand Prix 1998 awards. Readers are invited to vote for their favorite titles from the year. Prizes are offered to voters, including Dreamcast software for 30 people, visual memory units for 20, Saturn software for 20, a special Dream Magazine telephone card for 30 people. Also on offer is a Dynamite Deca 2, Die Hard Arcade 2, set for one person, a Sega arcade game t-shirt set featuring Sega Touring Car Championship, Dart Devils, and Ocean Hunter for one person, and a Sagata Sanshiro prize set with a keychain, doll, and badge for one person. Readers are informed that the Dreamcast and Saturn software prizes are limited to games released by February 1999, and there may be delays in delivery. The final deadline for entries is February 5th, with the results due in early March. The address for entries is provided. The Sega Saturn Weekly Data Station page lists the top 10 best-selling Sega Saturn games, including titles like Ruro no Yuki and Marvel Superheroes vs. Street Fighter. It also previews upcoming Sega Saturn releases, providing titles such as Toryu Densetsu Elandor, Roommate W Futari, and Sonic 3D Flicky's Island, along with their release dates, prices, developers, and genres. Furthermore, the page highlights the top 10 most anticipated upcoming Sega Saturn games. This anticipated list features titles such as Sonic 3D, Flicky's Island, Dungeons & Dragons Collection, and Roommate W Futari, indicating player excitement for these forthcoming releases. The data station serves as a snapshot of the Sega Saturn market, showcasing current sales trends and future game expectations. The next page showcases the Sega Saturn Reader's Race, presenting a ranking of games based on reader votes. It lists currently available Saturn titles, with a total count of 1129. The ranking highlights popular titles such as Sakura Wars 2, Yuno, A Girl Who Chants Love at the Bound of This World, and Langrisser V, The End of Legend. The page also includes information about the ranking system and encourages readers to participate by submitting their own votes and comments. There is also a section that references the series' first 5 years and talks about the final winner in Sakura 2. The next page features a retro review section focusing on Sega Saturn games. There are 3 in-depth game reviews as well as a ranked list of games. Noel 3. This is a review for the adventure game Noel 3. The reviewer praises the animation quality, engaging data collection gameplay, and significant enhancements over previous entries. They recommend it to fans, despite some repetitive elements. QQ Mero Monogatari Ensemble. This review covers the fan disc QQ Mero Monogatari Ensemble, praising its extended gameplay and the addition of voices to previously silent characters. The reviewer notes some minor annoyances like repetitive tasks. Capcom Generation Dai 5, Shu Kakutu Katachi, Tier 5. The review for Capcom Generation Dai 5 Shu Kakutu Katachi acknowledges its retro appeal and consistent fun. The reviewer highlights the faithfulness to the original Saturn version and the high number of included titles, particularly praising Super Versus. Finally, there is a brief review of Ruro no Yuki. The reviewer found the game to be enjoyable, with strong characters and good story development. They enjoyed the staff role for Coma. The next page features a review of the Sega Saturn game Baroque, an RPG developed by Sting Entertainment. The writer expresses reservations about recommending the game, citing its unique and potentially inaccessible nature, describing the game's world and gameplay as strange and deformed. The review mentions the game's visuals, comparing them to films like Blade Runner and Basket Case. There are screenshots of the game showcasing its dark and surreal environments. Additionally, there are reader comments expressing appreciation for the game's atmosphere, while acknowledging its unconventional nature. The developers share their hope that players will become engrossed in the game despite its initial challenges. The page also includes a ranking chart of Saturn games, based on reader votes, including titles such as Sakura Wars, Flower Division, Zork 1, After School Love Club, and Elevator Action Returns. The next page shows a Saturn software hit chart D. It is a list of games with their ranking, software title, genre, and overall score. Some titles include My Dream, On Air, and others. The next page features reader-submitted reviews and a competition related to Sega Saturn games and a prize draw for Dreamcast accessories. Several Saturn games are reviewed, including Farland Saga, Toki no Dohyu, Yoshimoto Mahjong Club, Virtual Mahjong 2, My Fair Lady, Murakoshi Masami's Explosive Angling Japanese Archipelago. There's also a section listing the top Sega Saturn peripherals based on reader votes with prices, featuring items like the Virtua Stick Pro, Sega Saturn Floppy Disk Drive, and Sega Saturn Keyboard, among others. The reader competition involves predicting the ranking of Sega Rally 2 inches in the Dreamcast charts, as well as predicting the reader review score for Sengoku Turb. The prize draw offers a Dreamcast joystick, a visual memory unit, and a game. The next page features a preview of Roommate W, a real-time communication software for the Dreamcast, scheduled for release on January 14th. The game revolves around living with two girls and experiencing everyday life events. The system incorporates real-time elements, where events and interactions are influenced by the time of day and in-game location. The next page previews the Sega Saturn game, Roommate, and focuses on Yuko Yamaguchi. The game revolves around a male character living with two girls, Kaori and Yuko, and the daily life and relationships that develop. There are screenshots showing in-game dialogue and scenes from the daily life of the characters in the game, such as preparing meals, late-night interactions, and conversations about their personal lives. The copy describes the dynamics between the characters, including moments where the player is at the mercy of the girl's whims and the potential for romantic relationships to develop. Yuko Yamaguchi's profile mentions that she was originally supposed to move from Sendai with her family, but due to her father's work, she moved to Tokyo ahead of them. She becomes acquainted with the main character through her mother's friendship with Kaori's mother. Her personality is described as gentle and reserved, but also with a touch of selfishness. Her hobbies include gardening and playing the piano, and she is skilled in making sweets. Her birthday is May 5, 1980, and her measurements are also listed. The next page features the Sega Saturn game, Toryu Densetsu Elendor, which translates to Fighting Dragon Legend Elendor, a fighting game developed by Saimate and Kamada and Partners. Due for release on January 14th, and priced at 5,800 yen, it's described as a fighting action game suitable for all ages and supports two-player battles. The page focuses on system review and character-specific recommended combo techniques to help players transition from practicing on the Saturn version to the arcade. It covers basic controls like attack buttons, free dash, jump, and lever movements for various actions. Special attacks are performed using simple commands like A+B or A+B+C, consuming special attack points displayed on the screen. Screenshots show gameplay with characters Kane, Kayaki, or Lorna and Scion battling on dragons, emphasizing aerial combat. It explains concepts such as unblockable jump attacks, axial movement to evade attacks, guarding, and executing special moves by inputting commands and pressing the attack button, referred to as D-Power. The game features flashy animations and deals significant damage. It also mentions that the game has 10+ alpha characters. The next page features D-Power from Dragon's Fury, detailing the game's system mechanics. It explains how the dragon power gauge depletes when using dragon abilities, leading to a state where these actions are unavailable. The page also describes free dash and oikuchi attack systems. Character-specific combo moves are listed for characters like Kane, Kayaki, Tina, Revi, Garnick, Eleanor, Scion, Garf, Mary, and Rubone, alongside screenshots demonstrating these combos. Character tactics are briefly discussed, such as those for Scion, Garf, and Mary, with tips on executing special moves and combos effectively. The next page is a strategy guide for the adventure game Noel 3, not digital, and it includes tips for navigating the game's branching scenarios up to Act 2, focusing on the early stages of Act 1, along with advice on data collection and character interactions with Yuka Okano and Elisa. The guide breaks down the initial hacking sequence into 3 cases, based on the number of commands used to connect to a lab. It stresses gathering data on Class 3B students and checking data in the folder, with screenshots of the game included. The next page is a strategy guide for the Sega Saturn game, Elisa Dragoon, not released outside of Japan, focusing on how to escape from Megami, a character within the game. The page details the conditions required to view a specific scene involving Megami breaking free, which includes triggering a conversation with Yuka, ensuring Megami hasn't been found yet, and sending a character called Omoide-kun to the rooftop after a conversation with Yuka. It highlights an event where Ayumi and Yuka are captured, with Yuka getting caught by terrorists. Advice is given on efficiently finding and sending Omoide-kun. It also mentions accessing Kazuma-sensei's node and rehacking the science club to obtain necessary information. A hacking node list includes characters like Yuka Okano, Ayumi Shimizu, Kotomi Wakura, Yoko Mitari, Miki Echigo, Kiyomi Iguchi, and others, along with the nanotypes needed for hacking each. This page is a strategy guide for a section of the game. It includes flowcharts and conditions to unlock different events. This involves hacking, conversations with characters like Ayase, Tina, and Megumi. It includes info on conversation choices and hacking requirements to influence the story and character relationships. It also refers to Act 1 of the game and collecting information. This page features a strategy guide for the visual novel game Noel 3 Inches on Sega Saturn, which was never released outside Japan. The guide provides tips and advice for Act 2 of the game, including information on hacking nodes, focusing on rescuing the character Yuka. There's advice on efficiently using the character Nano, and details on the consequences of the player's choices affecting the available hacking time. The page also covers the game's release celebration party, mentioning voice actress Nana Mizuki attended. There is an offer for a Noel 3 Inches telecard featuring character artwork being given away as a prize to 5 people. This page is a strategy guide for the adult adventure game Girl Doll Toy, originally released for the PC and later ported to the Sega Saturn. The guide provides a walkthrough up to the middle of the game, highlighting events with the 2 female characters. It includes route charts and conditions for triggering specific events, with a focus on the shortest path to completion. The guide is broken down into story check segments, offering tips and instructions for key points in the game. These include Story Check 1, solving a hot spring quiz to unlock an event with Erica. Story Check 2, visiting the library room multiple times to gather information. Story Check 3, meeting the junk shop owner Akiyama after Erica awakens. Story Check 4, dealing with Erica's shirtless appearance and the protagonist's reaction. The guide also mentions setting up a network link with the university's computer to gather information. The text also mentions Akiyama is hard to find, and the text and diagrams explain the shortest route and what to do when. Overall, the guide aims to help players experience all the adult events in the game with minimal effort. The next page provides a walkthrough for a dating sim game, focusing on how to build relationships with 2 female characters, Sato and Shiki. Story checkpoints. Story Check 5. The protagonist's relationship with Erica becomes strained, leading to malfunctions. He seeks help from the store manager. Story Check 6. The protagonist ventures to Apricot Park to obtain a Zakuya bird egg to repair Erica, resulting in a hospital visit. Character-specific guides. Sato. Details on how to romance Sato, involving hospital visits after encounters with the Zakuya bird. Shiki. Steps on how to romance Shiki, who is at the fishing shop in Suzerain Coast, with the conditions being based around fishing minigames. This page is an advertisement for the Sega Saturn game Sakura Wars, the gorgeous blooming chapter. It details a special viewing room feature within the game, offering extra content and minigames. The page highlights various locations within the game, such as the Great Imperial Theater, personnel rooms, and salon, where different events and minigames can be accessed. Characters like Yuri, Tsubaki, and Koyama are mentioned in the context of quizzes and interactions within the game. Some of the minigames mentioned include Koi Koi Tyson 2 Inches and a piano playing game. It also mentions the various posters from the show being available to view. The next page is a Sakura Wars fan page called Taito Journal Issue 8. It features fan submissions and artwork related to the Sakura Wars series. From various prefectures in Japan, there are drawings, cosplay photos, and other creative works showcasing the fans' love for the game and its characters. There is also an address for readers to send fan content for possible publication. The next page is a Sega Saturn software review section featuring upcoming games. The first game reviewed is Toryu Densetsu Elandore, Dragon Legend Elandor, a fighting game developed by System Socom. It was never released outside of Japan. The review praises its flashy moves and female characters, but criticizes the system balance. The game features characters designed by Yuko Otagaki, and the graphics have some similarities to those of other fighting games, though it is considered to be a unique title. The reviewers give it a rating of 5.66 out of 10. The second game reviewed is Roommate W Futari, published by Datum Polystar. It was never released outside of Japan. The review discusses the dating sim's 2 female leads and the series' reliance on the system clock. It also notes the lack of player agency and the old-fashioned graphics. The reviewers give it a rating of 5.66 out of 10. The page also includes comments from the reviewers and their preferences. REI enjoys original concepts. Ishiban enjoys RAC, ACT, SHT, fighting games, mecha, ELT, emotional stories, sweets, and coffee milk, and dislikes adventure, falling object puzzles, insects, and mushrooms. And Kaori likes original mixes and was hooked on Atelier Ali, and is looking forward to Sonic. This page is an advertisement for the official guide to the erotic mahjong adventure game Summer Waltz for Sega Saturn, featuring artwork of the female characters from the game. The guide costs 1,400 yen and has 112 pages. It includes complete strategy guides for all 7 girls, detailed maps to all endings, and previously unreleased event information. This page features a promotional spread for Red Company, offering New Year's gifts related to the Sakura Wars series. Prizes include Sakura Wars merchandise, such as keychain figures, straps, and a selection of sound and drama CDs with musical performances. Several software titles are also up for grabs, including a special edition of the original Sakura Wars with a mousepad, and digital data collections for both Windows and Macintosh. This page is a promotional spread for various games and related merchandise, primarily focusing on Mitsumeri Night and Sakura Wars. Sakura Taisen. Mitsumeri Night is highlighted with character pins, keychains, postcard sets, posters, and a single CD. Sakura Wars features alongside a collection of related books, promotional posters, and a CD drama. Additionally, there is promotion for Tengai Makyo, Far East of Eden, with vocal selections and original soundtracks. Arcana Strikes is featured, showing off official artwork, the Sega Saturn game, a guidebook, booster packs, starter sets, and the ending theme. The next page features an interview with Alan Webb, the program director of Incoming, a 3D shoot-'em-up game. The interview discusses the development of the Dreamcast version of Incoming, and the interviewer asks Webb about the meaning of the title, the appeal of aliens, and the popularity of the Dreamcast in the UK. Webb explains that Incoming is a military term used to warn of approaching enemies, and that he chose the title because it sounded good and fit the theme of Earth's invasion. He also expresses his belief that aliens are behind many of the world's problems, and that the movie Independence Day was a great inspiration. There is also a rebuttal from the aliens, claiming that they provided the technology for the game, and that the developers are taking credit for their work. They offer a secret technique as proof. Pressing the A, B, X, Y, and start buttons during the game will reset it. Also on the page is a scoop about a mysterious toilet character that appears in the game. The player must search for the character in the game by following a series of hints. Finally, there is a short message from a Dreamcast Magazine reader. It appears to tease that Imadio Club from a previous Dreamcast Magazine issue was a mistake. The next page is an advertisement for a new game magazine called Game, short for Game Mania, launching on November 11, 1999, priced at 690 yen. The magazine promises in-depth reporting and analysis, not just strategy guides. The advertisement highlights upcoming features, including a look back at the Dreamcast phenomenon, a complete guide to Biohazard, Resident Evil, an interview with Shigeru Miyamoto from Nintendo, an interview with the developers of R4, Ridge Racer Type 4. The next page is an Arcade Express feature, specifically Volume 38, focusing on Gradius IV, Fukatsu, Gradius IV, Resurrection, by Konami, which was scheduled for release in early February as a shooting game. The story introduces the return of the Bacterian and the Gradius planet's defense force facing defeat. A lone white ship takes flight. The text anticipates if the game will reveal any secrets. The page highlights the game's return after 14 years since the original Gradius, and 10 years since Gradius 2I, inheriting the series system with improved visuals and sound. The feature introduces new and familiar equipment from previous games, including vertical mine, flying torpedo, armor piercing, and twin laser. It explains the functions of each weapon. The next page focuses on game stages, showcasing several levels from an unspecified shooting game, and includes descriptions and screenshots of stages like liquid metal, plants, bubbles, and magma. Each stage has unique environments and boss characters, such as Yorogaton Chimera, Dendrodium, Bubblecore, and Gyraerdle. Later stages introduce elements like Moai and fast scrolling. The page emphasizes the increasing difficulty and highlights the importance of memorizing course layouts. Stages 5, 6, and 7 are shown with screenshots. The next page features an interview with Capcom's Noritaka focusing on the past year and upcoming titles for the Dreamcast. Funamizu reflects on a successful year with titles like Biohazard 2 Inches, Resident Evil 2, Justice Gakuen, Rival Schools, and 03 Inches, Street Fighter Alpha 3. While noting the popularity of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure at the end of 1998, he expresses a desire to release Kikai-O, Tech Romancer, on the Dreamcast, believing its unique world and appeal would resonate with fans of cyberbots. He mentions the upcoming release of Power Stone and Marvel vs. Capcom on the Dreamcast, and the importance of releasing appealing titles to encourage hardware sales. The page also features a preview of GigaWing, a shooting game with a reflection mechanic. Character designs are by Kugetsu, known for Kurogane. Screenshots showcase gameplay and the character Aisha. The next page features JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, a fighting game for the CP System 2 iArcade platform, developed by Capcom. The page details hidden techniques for various characters like Jotaro Kujo, Joseph Joestar, Alessi, Debo, and Kakyoin Noriaki. Techniques like Star Platinum, the World, a time-stopping ability for Jotaro, are highlighted. Other characters' unique moves, such as Joseph's Rolling Evade, Alessi's Shadow Extension, Debo's Wall Walking, and Kakyoin's guard-breaking move, are also explained. The page promises that mastering these techniques will increase the player's chances of victory. It also teases the appearance of Death 13 as an opponent for players who clear the game with certain conditions. Quote, the next page features Star Wars Trilogy Arcade, an arcade game by Sega AM12. The page provides stage strategy for the Hoth stage, based on The Empire Strikes Back. The Hoth stage involves snowspeeder combat against Imperial forces and gunfights inside Echo Base. The goal is to destroy the walkers and escape Echo Base. The snowspeeders equipped with lasers and harpoon guns. AT-ATs are heavily armed walkers. There's also a message from AM12, wishing readers a Happy New Year and encouraging players to aim for high scores in Star Wars. The page includes a link to the game's website. The next page provides stage content and strategy tips for the game Flat Out by Sega AM&D Department No. 12, which was never released outside of Japan. The game appears to be a first-person shooter in a Star Wars setting or clone. The page covers 3 areas. 1. Snowfield Battle. Focus on targeting the head of AT-ATs. When Delta Attack appears, use the triangle cursor to concentrate fire. Be careful not to let probe droids escape, as it increases enemy attacks later on. 2. Echo Base Gunfight. Target the faces of Wampas. Consecutive hits earn bonuses. Remember the enemy patterns, as troopers don't always appear in order. Quote, 3. Hangar Defense. Prioritize taking down large numbers of enemies. Use the same method to defeat the Wampa at the end. Defeat the surrounding enemies to gain a bonus. Additional tips include avoiding overheating and focusing fire on Wampas when they raise their arms. The page encourages readers to send in their questions and comments. Several screenshots are included showing gameplay in the different areas. The final Wampa appears only once and can be defeated by continuously shooting at its face when it raises its arms. Defeating it clears the stage. This page is for Virtua Striker 2, version 99, a soccer arcade game by Sega. The page promotes the new version of the game, highlighting that it features updated graphics, new stadiums, and the addition of 3 new national teams, Jamaica, Chile, and Austria. The page also includes screenshots from the game. There is a short interview with the series producer, Toshihiro Mifune, who mentions that the game has been improved in subtle ways, such as the responsiveness of passing and trapping. The next page is for the game Virtua Striker 2, version 1999, with features including new stadiums, improved player movements, and updated team formations based on 1998 data. The team select screen has been changed, and the goal celebrations are now marked with golden boots. The game includes teams like Japan, France, England, Bulgaria, Korea, Nigeria, USA, Mexico, Chile, Italy, Belgium, Spain, Paraguay, Denmark, Romania, Brazil, Croatia, Jamaica, Germany, Netherlands, Saudi Arabia, Scotland, Yugoslavia, South Africa, Argentina, Austria, and Colombia. The next page features a preview of Spike Out, Digital Battle Online, a beat-em-up arcade game by Sega. The game is a sequel to Spike Out and features 4-player cooperative gameplay, which uses the Model 3 Step 2 arcade board. The preview focuses on Stage 2, highlighting the alternate route, which is longer and more difficult, with 9 areas compared to the standard route's 6. It mentions that players should be familiar with the game before attempting this route. The page also details safe spots in Area 25, where enemies cannot reach, suggesting that these can be used to easily clear the area, and a guide to defeating the boss Chen Long, including how to avoid his special move, Shura Hao Kyohazan, by watching for a yellow glow and dodging accordingly. The page includes a sequence of images showing an advanced combination attack. Additionally, it mentions an enemy named Lee-san, who carries a health box. The next page of Dreamcast Magazine features strategies for Beat the Spike Out, a Japanese arcade beat-em-up later released on the Dreamcast. Area 26 focuses on fighting on a rotating merry-go-round, advising players to stay on the inner ring and prioritize defeating the boss, Blaso, first. Area 27 takes place in a narrow elevator hall, recommending players use enemies as projectiles against the boss, Carlos, and exploiting openings in his attacks. Area 28 emphasizes basic combat skills like combos and throws, suggesting players avoid getting surrounded and prioritize defeating the boss, Lowell, who appears simultaneously with other enemies. Area 29 is essentially a harder version of Area 27, where players must defeat enemies and find a health box held by the enemy, Ishikura. The bosses featured are Duke, Carlos, and Homer. The next page is an advertisement for J-League Pro Soccer Club Wo Tsukuru 2, known as J-League Pro Soccer Club Wo Tsukuru in the West, also known as Let's Make a Pro Soccer Club. The ad features screenshots from the game, along with a stylized anime woman in a red outfit. The ad highlights the ability to create and manage your own soccer club, with over 100 clubs to choose from. It also mentions an official fan book for the game. The page also mentions interviews with JEF United Ichihara players Kenichi Shimokawa and Tomo Yamaguchi, club data, and information on the Dreamcast version of the game. The next page features Weekly Dreamcastrology, a horoscope section running from January 8th to January 21st. Each zodiac sign gets a brief forecast covering overall luck, money, health, love, and career. There's advice for each sign, tailored to both boys and girls. The lucky person of the week is Fujiwara Aya, a Capricorn born on January 9th, and is described as energetic, with great luck with money, and a tumultuous love life. The horoscope suggests following her instincts. A screenshot of Real Mahjong PV accompanies the profile. The next page displays a Reader's Prize giveaway from Dreamcast Magazine, including the chance to win Dreamcast-compatible software, Magical Truck Adventure poster and phone strap set, a TEIN Motorsports calendar, and a Samsung Yoshimatsu illustration. The page also lists the staff members of the magazine. Finally, the page includes details about submitting articles to the magazine as a writer. It announces the winners of the December 25th prize draw and includes the next issue release date, which is January 22nd, which will feature complete information about upcoming games, including the cover for Sengoku Turb. The next page contains an advertisement for the Sega Saturn game Kiss Yori, which translates to Rather Than a Kiss. It features an anime girl and details about a pre-order campaign. The promotion offered an original bus clock to the first 1,000 customers who pre-ordered the game, with a deadline of April 3, 1999. A reservation form is included in the advert. The next page is an ad for Evolution Eternal Dungeons, released in Japan in 1999. It features the character Linear Cannon, wearing a kimono, in front of a series of orange torii gates. The game is advertised to be on sale January 21, 1999, for 5,800 yen plus tax. It also credits the planning and development to Sega Enterprises, ESP, and Sting.